taenga o le tio Vake Tali Folau. Ai whakawhehoko takianga o Tonga I he kolope. This is Radio Vake Tali Folau, where Tongans can connect globally.
ki pea malo lele e Tonga kotoa pe. Ko le pe mua ke u whakamalu atu i ngahi whakatapu kotoa pe, wha ke ngalu e a pe mo e ngalu o pe. Talangata e te au whai ki tua, kai tuk mua ke ata ke u whai whatongi atu ma ki mautolu. I hou ai whiawhi ko ni pe a me San Francisco, California. Ko whatawange pe o kutoka maari e pe mea kotoa pe me hena mautolu mo mea mai i YouTube. Facebook, fika telefonika ma e tau phone application. Kai ngalo foke ak motolo mo me mai e website ele tio Vake Tali Folau, tali leiki motolo i he fiafini. Famalo ai pe ki a Bruno Haft, ko i ko whahoko mai tau ngai polokalama ni tau toksi tu a mai pe me ai, pe me Euless, Texas. Te tau hoko atu pe a mo e tau station koia i he Bay Area i Hawaii, o a o ki he taimi hoko koia ai valu. I he fiafini taimi koia California pe ko Pacific Standard Time. I he taimi hoko ai lele koe ke valu lewa te tau kolosi ai ki mere wahoi ko na kupu pe a me he tau le tio koia pe a mo e vai kopuna mo pea ai e whai whatongia mai a mere wahoi ko na kupu i he taimi valu ke hoko koia ai tahataha. Kane ngoi au taitale leiki mo tolu e Hawaii pe a mo e tau ngahi polokalama pe me Bay Area i he Hawaii a pe tau whanki whanongonongo taitale leiki mo tolu mo kolet pe share e tau ngahi polokalama pe hoko tonu ko ia ai ono te tau kolosi ai ki a tau ngahi uni o ngongo. Lava ke tātana ki mai tau ngahi o ngongo me tonga eiki ka mai tau ngahi o ngongo pe a me ko ia ai fie ma o ke lanu mata ma ui a ho tau ngahi a ho tau ngahi kolo ai au fie ma o ke lanu mata ma ui a tau ngahi kolo pe a koe polo kalama ia i e taimi fitu ke walu ki mua pe tau mawai. Lo tonga koe au kai pe tau whanki i pōpoaki whakamamahi. Pōpoaki putu e whahoko atu ia i e taimi hoko koe ia e pōpoake tā i hawhi ai ono i e whiawhini pe te e tau pōpoake tā i osko e tau ngai o ngongo i e fitu pe a koe ai whawhi ia to ki mōtolo no kotoa ke tau ngai polo kalama pe a mo tali lele ia pe umu whewhehaki. Ko hana e anga tu e aho mo fei tu uni i he taimi ni. Pe a motol ko ia o mo me a mai lava ke ki whakalea mai pe i he tau Facebook pe koho o me a mai pe me fe ia pe pe koho me a mai pe me fe ia ko whenai fei tu o ke me a mai me iai ai a koe me ia ko whakaam ko ke tau fe ilo ngaki i he taimi ni. Pe i he taimi tau pe Whiwheka mai awe e tau manatu a tau tolu ki Tonga, he taimi koe na tau tupu haka i Tonga he teu e kilismasi. Teu e kilismasi, whakakaukau ange, whakafoki ange ho o manatu ki Tonga. Teu foki au pita e manatu ke tau koe a kotui mahalo. Tau tahiwa fituono, fitu walu. Fitu hiwa wau noa wau taha koea. Tahiwa fitu ono, fitu walu. Ko e tau ko ia na amau foi ta tolu ko ia na uiniwa top tapua. Pe te ufeinga pe ke umanatu, ko me pe te umanatu i ko me te utalanoa ki ai, Ko hinga he ko taimi ko ia ko ke tau fa nima ko tui mahalo io tau fa, tau tolu, tau fa, tau nima. Tau i ko e na mau iniwa top tapua. Pea ko mea ko manatu i kai ke manatu i au hapula pe ko ke manatu i au ha mea va inga motol ko na mo ni wa top tap ngai taimi ko ni halo pene o sai pe hapula ai ka ko mea ke manatu i aku ne ke manatu i au hapula pe ko ha mea va inga ko ni taimi ni pe ko ko mea pe ko manatu i ko ngai ma ko feinga ko ke ma ko ngai ma unga keresi pe ko ngai lotu na mausias katolika pe ko po o full mafa pe ko po wa fati se ma ko po ia o lotu SS katolika pe ne mau feinga tu leva ke lotu o mantu pe tu ngai ko fu fo o ke lotu ko ia he po krismasi osko ia ko aho wani ma leva pe ko aho ko fai krismasi Kung manatu ko tano ane taiwa fit fa fit ni ma fit ono ai te ke foki mo ko ki taimi ko ya whakakaukau ange ke tau ko ya pe ko fe tu na ke ai na ko hai Christmas da ho ko taimi ko ya tau foki ke tau taiwa fit fa fitu nima fitu ono pe ko fitu ngo futu pu ko ngo tano atu na mau ni top tak na faya ko ma to a he lau to pure anga ko ya niwa pe ne mau hiki ki niwa me abe ko manatu he taimi Christmas ko ta uia pe ko taimi ya ko fufo o ai af ta tu he fine eki pe ko ma ko ngatu penu me fe tu he fine eki a fanga ki ko fo o a ak mo ki tonga an ai mo no ki fanga ki ta se fo o oscar pe o ke lo tu pa ko lo tu fai po uria me ke dai mi valu a o fa ho ka lo tu fi af ko es katolika osco pe ko lo tu pe o leva ki api pe ko a ho Christmasi ko dai mi ni o ko manatu ipe tahiwa fit ngo fuma fit fine o ko ta no ki ai okay, ko ngai lote ko ngai sias ke he na fai a ho Christmas. Sias katolika fa ko ya e po ko ya. Pero dai mi ko fai ko u lotu ko ngai sias ke he ko dai mi ko o fai ko ai kai fakafe. Pe ko ngai Christmas fakafe Christmas. Ko ya ko o ke me amai tau te fita ka mo tolo mo me amai Facebook ka avange ho manatu pe ke manatu ina ake Christmas ko ya e fit fa fitu ni ma fitu ono fe tu na ke Christmas ai pe ha me ke manatu fe ka ak mo Christmas ko ni ko no ko ata ek manatu ai tu e fanga ki ko fo ko ke kalas ko ke tau fa tau ni ma tau fa tol fa ni ma iniwa tu e ko fo e fineki ma o ke lo tu e po Christmas po wa fa a Christmas halo wo ya ki a ngai lote sias ke he ko ngak fai mang hai kai fakaf pe fai pe mo kai lele I api fe ko kupu fe taimi ko manatu fit fa na ke fe he taimi ko ya fit fa fitu ni ma fitu ono ko tau fe ngan ke tau manatu ke fitu fa fitu ni ma fitu ono na ke fe ko kupu modol ko ya o mo me mai o mai ange ha ki tala no moto ko mo ki fale mai Facebook ka ko ka uma aki moto le YouTube ki fale mai ange pe ko fe tu una ake Christmas ai e taiva fit fa taiva fit nima taiva fit ono foi aho ya ko foi ta u ya ko o ko eke ko eke e taiva balungo futu pu o ko eke taiva fit fa fit nima fit ono pero me ta ko manatu ifeka ak mo taiwa fit fa fit ni ma fit no KCC ho ki tonga ane na hanga he fine ki pero tanga ta ki o tata ki palalafa o ai ki vaka hanga ki vaka pe aspa hunu ki mo ko fute pero me ya go ulere ta kai ho ki vaka ko me va inga ye taimi ko ya fe ko mo me va inga ye taiwa fit fa ai gi mea osko ya pa ko peto glere kana faka tu tama ki au pito no nga ake fanki vaka ko ta me palalafa pe ospa hunu ki fo I moko fute ko I ai ko no uhinga he ka ane tatu sia hamea I kai ko maho kai pe si kete to ta ko ya ko uhinga ko fa inga va inga ko ni pero taimi ko ya taimi fana pitu taiva fit fine mo ki manatu mange ke taiwa fifa taimia o fana pitu ko hange ko mena la veke ni wa top tapu no ko tala no a he manatu aku kai ke manatu ia hapula hange ka te manatu pe me ko ni na e fanga ki pe pateu kai ke ila pe ko pe pateu me fe ia kana o mai pe pateu ia ko ya o ngahi aki o tau holo I fanga ki I api pena mau nofo ko I niwa top tapu I loto api yako ko I niwa top tapu I hihi fo api yako lautohi na mau nofo pe I fale tonga mana tui ko fanga ki fale ko na langa kau niwa ko langa pe PTA Parents Teachers Association ki he ke kau faya ko watu ko ki niwa pe hiket ki niwa ai te na langa pe ki fale tonga ki ato nofo pena mau nofo ki fale tonga I fit fa fitu nima fitu ono ini wa top tap pe ko mana tu hange katia ko fale lo tu yo kata ko fale ako ye ne fale papa pe ia Kana ia whanga ki ipe palanu ke manifi au pito na ama kos vilo hia o ma teu I ak mahalo a whanga ki whare tō ngā hono tau holo he ato koe o e whare. Kako tana no ata koe taiwa fit wha. O ko hange ka tau mo tolko no mo mea mai o te ke a ho mo manatu ke fit wha. Ka te ke manatu ipe. Koe hanai ai mea o ke manatu I whekau aki mo Kirismasi na ake I tu koia. Mahalo pena ke Amerikan, mahalo pena ke New Zealand, Australia, mahalo pena ake niwa top tap whataha moao, pena ake niwa fo'o, ua pe ko whe motu I tonga na ake ia eka koe hanai ha manatu, ha o manatu me lie ki he taimi koia o e Kirismasi I he tahiwa fitungo fulutupu. Tahiwa fitungo fulutupu ko tau taimi o sem de wamal me nima ko kei tali pe atake ki whakalea mai pe Facebook mo tolgo ya mo me amai e Facebook a whenai feitu una ake iai I he tahiwa fitufa ko ino ko talata ko tahiwa fitufa na aku iniwa top tapuai whenai e feitu o kuke manatu ina ake iai I he tahiwa fitufa tuku ke ka pau na te ke whanau I koe tahiwa fit whaat e tong lava. Ka pau na te ke whanau I koe tahiwa fit wha. Ka ko whehu I pe au ka motolu. Ko whenai wheitu na ke iai. Pe koe hanai hau ki I manatu. Whekau aki mo wheitu na ke iai I he tahiwa fitu wha. Whema ake practice ange pa ki exercise e tau whakakaukau o whoki au pito ia ki e tahiwa fitungo full mawha. Kau te kai pia taha lea mai. Pea koe ke ilo pe koe huinga kai ke lea mai o kai ke manatui. Pe koe huinga ai kai ke lea mai o ku ke mo ua koe ia I whai hao ngā aue. Ka koe tau whehu ia wilo. Ko malo tau te maa o e whiawhinu ilo. Ko hanai ho manatu ilo ko whewheitu na ke iai I e tahiwa fitwha. Pea koe hanai e mea o ke manatu I whekau aki mo e tahiwa fitu wha. He wilo, Tuk mai ange ki manatu koe a kau. Toi pe tau ki minite tah. Lau se koni pe oskoe te oatu a e popo aki whamamahi. Ka ke whakamana manatu ki mua pa tau hoko atu ko ia ki e tau ngahi o ngongo te tau whoki pe tau manatu. Tau whenga pe ke whoke tau manatu ke tahiwa fitu wha. Fitu wha, fitu nima, fitu ono. Nā ke tau whihai, ko whewheitu nā ke iai I he taimi koe o e tau, o e tahiwa fitu wha. O e Kirismasi, ko tau tānoani ke Kirismasi. Ka mea ke manatu I whekau ak mo e tahiwa fitu wha I he Kirismasi. Ka e tuku ngoa ke tau wakai ki pōpua ki whakamamahi koe ni, ki mua pa tau tok hoko atu. mo e talamalo e whanua pea mo e lotu, pea talangata i te kita o whai ki tua. Kai au whaki atu mua he, i e tau whatunga mo tua, kai ata ke fofola atu hok whala tu ani, mo te ngihia si oku apisia. Io, he kua ke ku manatu, ki ene whakalau noa ki e taulanga wawa o. Iaui, whakapoe, wakai atu ki e taulanga ko pui pui whanua kotoa. taulanga nonga fe unga mohono vikia, he na e teu i pe ia mei na tula talo mei mua. Ka i ahoni, kua loka tu ue taulanga, pea kaupo uli mo ho ana tula. Fasta nunuai mo ngahi pea au taane, tupuai si ene tae malava o ta fia ai si e maukoloa whakatalu talu. Ka e whāsia ai e pouturiki o api ko po walu. Ki a folio tupo ki puke kohe nu sila. Pea moe whanau, moe makapuna o alilia nuku he whala tupo ki kolomotua. Ki a maka ahonima ki Reno, Nevada, wa asini sii ki whalaleu ne iafu vavao, pea moe whanau, moe makapuna o alefosio tuitawake. Ki a mateaki moala ki Denver, Colorado, mo masima moala ki whalaleu ne iafu vavao, pea ki e whanau, moe makapuna o ana fonua. Ki a Stephen Hansen ki ne iafu vavao, moe whanau moe makapuna o le polo vasini. Ki a William Hati ki ne iafu vavao, mo Stephen Pulotu ki Portland, Oregon, pea moe whanau moe makapuna o Silivia Tamutamu Pulotu. Ki a whaiwhekau talanoa vaea, pea moe makapuna o Sione Tobohi Tuitawake ki Honolulu, Hawaii. Ki a whaiwhekau Fine Teutau ki Kona, Hawaii. Ki a Vivili, pea moe whanau moe makapuna o Vivili ki Niwa Toptapu. Ki a Sate ki Lino ki Nukunuku Tonga Tapu, pea moe whanau moe makapuna o Simone Lino. Ki a Soane Kauhala Niua, mo Kalolo Maafoa Watahausi, pea moe whanau moe makapuna o Whehoko ki Whalaleu ne iafu vavao. Ki a Lita Takau ki Portland, Oregon, mo Viliami o Tuwai ki Los Angeles, California, pea moe makapuna o Lolohea. Ki a Iloa he whaiva Takau ki e fofo anga Portland, mo siao si Takau ki Whalaleu ne iafu, pea moe makapuna o Thomas Takau. Ki a katoa ki Langi, pea moe makapuna o Paia ki Riverside, California. Ki a Akau Uringaholo ki Okalani, New Zealand, Kasinia Whahiua, pea moe whanau moe makapuna o Uringaholo. Ki a o Peti Tafea ki Portland, Oregon, pea moe whanau moe makapuna o Vaemanu. Ki a Tonga ki te au taulanga ki Kolotoni, California, pea mo Raymond taulanga ki Corona, California, pea moe whanau moe makapuna o Ama. Ki a Siupeli katoa ki Portland, Oregon, pea moe whanau moe makapuna o Vakata. Ki e whahu, ki a Mekilini Tupo Engol ki Portland, Oregon. Ki e Ulumotua, ki a Hopoate Whakatawa ki Salt Lake City, Utah. Pea ki e whamiri whae o e pekia. Ki a Pafilio Tangitau, ki api ko lalo maunga ki ne iafu vavao. Pea mo Eduarte Sami Tangtau ki Ventura, California, pea moe whanau moe makapuna o Pafilio Tangtau. Ki a Isapeli Laulile ki California, pea moe whanau moe makapuna o ane me tui Tonga. Kia tupo pālelei pea mo moana tui pulotu ki Perth, Australia, pea moe whanau moe makapuna o Tongovua ki te ao Tatafu. Kia Miritoni tau whatofua ki Seattle, Washington, pea moe whanau moe makapuna o Osolua tau whatofua. Kia Tilisa Fine ki Australia, pea mo etua te Fine ki California, pea moe whanau moe makapuna o Tilisa Fine. Kia Heneli Chiunia Tangitau, ha unga tangitau, pea mo whaiwhekau sione tō tau Havea, pea moe whanau moe makapuna o la whaele tangitau ki California. Kia Talatala po oi, pea moe whanau moe makapuna o Liongi tangitau. Kia Powono moe aki ki Portland, pea moe whanau moe makapuna o Uta. Pea kisi ene whae o wha ki Otahohu, Auckland, New Zealand, kia Koloketi tu Itawake. Pea kisi ene Pisope Viliami tau fui, kai umaa si kai ngalotu na ane si lata molau kau aki, ai kai ngalotu Award Palmetto i Fontana, California. Og mau loto mamahi ke whakahaatu, ko ho mau taokete, ko e tuonga ane, ko e tama asi ene whae, ko e tamai ofa ki si ene whanau, ko e kui whakalaulau noa ki si ono makapuna. Ko ne siasi tangi ki lotu tu Itawake. Ko ne tau i ai tau lelei, pa ko ne lava i ai whakapuepue o ne tatau mai. Ko ne loto fie maalie, ke tali a hono wi ki hono eiki. O ne si folau hola ai i aho tu apule lulu, aho fito ti sema, wafe maua tolu i Fontana, California i Amerika. Og mau loto mamahi ke whakahaatu, ko ho mau taokete, ko e tuonga ane, ko e tama asi ene whae. Ko e tamai ofa ki si ene whanau. Ko e kui whakalaulau noa ki e makapuna. Ko ne siasi tangi ki e lotu tu Itawake. Ko ne tau i ai tau lelei, pia ko ne lava i ai whakapuepue o ne tatau mai. Ko ne loto fie maalie, ke tali a hono ui ki hono eiki. O ne si I folau holai, he aho tu apule lulu, aho fitu o tisema, wafe maua tolu, I Fontana, California, I Amerika. E whaisi ono wau whakamawai, pia moe whakahekeheka, I hono api siasi lata anga, I Award Palmetto, I aho pule lulu, aho hono wafulu, o tisema o ta wafe maua tolu. I he tuasila, ko e tahafitu Nima tol Nima Randall Avenue I Fontana, California. I zip code ko Hivaua tolu tahaono. I e taimi valu pongpongi ki e tahataha pongpongi. E hoko atu ai pe ki hono malanga I e taimi tahawaho ata. Pe tok whawhi au at lewa meiai ki hono api malolo anga. Ki e Green Acre Cemetery. Tahataha fitu tahanima Cedar Avenue I Bloomington, California, Hivaua tolu tahaono. Whaka apa-apatu me he tehina tu ata ane tu Itawake, Castano tu Itawake, Nico tu Itawake, Sione mohi tu Itawake, pea mo mahe tu Itawake. Kai mafo ki a ongo tua whawhine, pea mea sela whaki atu mei moana tau helu helu, pea mo veisi ni a whinau, pea mea whanau paia, pea mea tilila tui ta Vake Tars, pele i Samoa tau ataina, vili volaki tui ta Vake Junior, ele ngā moala. Nesiasi tui ta Vake Junior, veisi ni a tu pola, Johnny tui ta Vake, pea mo George tui ta Vake. Pea mei he ulumotu a, hopo a te whakatawa. O whatawanga pene o ngolere atu ki he ngahi loto whare o e pekia ai pōpoaki i whamamahi koe ni ko tāpe whokene a kukainga pe me i whalareu o whalahi atu ki a ki mōtoro no kotoa si whawhangai whamiri o kuhuki tonu ai whaingata ani me whatawangi o toa kene whakanonga a ki mōtoro e futai mi whaingata a koe ni ko mea whai koe ni e te o atu pēa e pōpoaki e ngai aho ko ia ka hoko mai ki mua pe whai e whakaheke heka o e tamai o e ki koeni i e aho pule lulu o e wike kaha o. Kau e o whalahi atu kia ki mō tolu hono kotoa e ka inga maheni pe mo e whamiri hono kotoa. O gai whoki pe mo ki pōpoaki whamamahi e taha, pōpoaki whamamahi koeni i San Mateo, pe ne teuteu ke toko atu he taimi fitu, ka koe matuunga pe me hewe a mea whai koe ni e whahoko e a pongpongi, koe ai ho ik mo kainga ko kore whamore more pe, kai tuku mo ke o atu pa mo e pōpoaki koe ni ki mua pe tau hoko atu ke tau ngahi uni o ngō.
Oh
ki afio ai kilua mei maananga. Tapu ki a siasi king tupo wono pehe ki kuini o feina na naspau o tuku aho. Whakatulo watu ki a eigno pele whawhanua, Lord Vahai, eigno pele veikune, eigno pele tui a fitu, kai o maa eigno pele whatulolo mo e makapuna a hou eiki. Tapu ki a motu apuaka mo haamatapule. Ki e ale ki bisope o siasi whaka-Inglani, ki Archbishop of Diocese of Aotearoa, New Zealand and Polynesia. Archbishop Sione Uluilakepa pea mo e siasi whaka-Inglani ki Tonga. Whakatulo watu kolo amatangi ki e wahanoa ka e whahatu mua hoku apisia masivani. Ki e whanau mo e makapuna o Isleri Kamperi whakawā mo atu o hakau tapu kolo amatangi. Ki a Ana Fuspala, ki a Sone Ita, ki a Osayasi Pepa, ki a Feleti, ki a Lintoni, ki a Siasi tu umuka ki pangai hapai, ki a Caroline Tankina, ki Bartlett ki Australia, ki e whanau pe mo e makapuna o tupou holonga pāhulu, ki a Mafi mo vai pāhulu, ki a Alani pāhulu pe me api ko fasmo e afi, ki a Lelenoa pe ki e whamiri ake ki kolomotua, pe ki e kāinga mo e whamiri kotoa o koloa matangi mo pāhulu i he ngalu o pē. Kua tali lelei e te evita i ta koloa matangi a hono ui mā oni i he aho ono o tisema o ta uafe mā ua tolu. Ko sihova na ane foaki, pea ko sihova pē kuone toe to'o, tau whakawhetai pē ki hono hua wha. E whakahoko e mea whakaeiki o toke tā Reverend David Ita Koloa Matangi i e whiawhi tokonaki ko hono aho hongofulu maono o tisema o ta uafe maua tolu. I e Snida Funeral Home i e tuasila ko hiwa fitu South El Camino Real i San Mateo i California, hiwa whanoa ua e zip code, i e taimi tolu e whiawhi, ki e taimi hiwa e whiawhi. E whakahoko ai pē ai malanga whakamāwae, i e aho sāpate ko hono hongofulu mā fitu o Disema o ta uafe mā ua tolu. I e whalelotu ko Episcopal Church of St. Matthew, i e tuasila ko Taha, South El Camino Real, San Mateo, California, i e zip code hiwa whanoa ua. I e taimi hawhe ai ua i e au sāpate ai pē i e hili ko ia ai malanga whakamāwae, e whakahaele ai pē ki hono api mau, ki Cypress Lawn Memorial Park, i e tuasila ko Tahatolu, Fitunoa, El Camino Real, ki Coma, California, zip code ko hiwa noa tahawha. Whakaapa atu pe me he ulumotua, pe mo Viliami ita fua atonga koloa matangi, pe mo e uitou, pe mo e whanau. Me dio Vake Tali Folau ke tau taimi o to e tau mini te ono ki he ono e fiafi pia me i San Francisco, California, mahalo moa mo ke fi a mai pia mo e pae ngā le dio Vake Tali Folau. Ko e ngahi popo ak whamamahi ne toki o atu, e to o atu pe ia anai nā yange o skoia ai o ngongo, kai o maafo ki ne hoko atu, ano o ate popo ak whamamahi koe ne toki o atu, ai fai whekau ka ko toke tā Reverend te vita ita kolo amatangi e whamafola atuia i le tio Vake Tali Folau a pongpongi ka mata te taimi ho a e fiafi e fai whafufua ke taimi nima lele ai ke a e fiafi pe amoe ke e fiafi pe amoe aho a sapa te foki kane ngoi a te tau hokoko atu me tau ngai polo kalama hoko te tonu i ono te tau kolose ai ke tau ngai uni o ngongo e lava ke o atu maaki mō tolu i he fiafini pe a tau toki hoko koia fitu te tau hoko atu tau tolu ke tau polo kalama ke ka neo ngoia tukuma ka te ki fo i himi ni ma ai si whamiri o puk tonu ai ngā hi whai ngata amo ngai peau tā o e whanonga anga ai ane tau toki whanongo koia ki ai ane naini pe a ko neo se fasko ni tau hoko atu pe ke tau ngai uni o ngongo. Malau maria hau ki pe amalo ele ya Tonga koto ape tu mo ke tau wakai ki ngai uniongo tata nak mai I he fia fini ke tau inasi ai te tau kamata pe me ngai ngongo pe me Tonga ki tau wakai ki ngai ngongo me otmo te pasiki kai mafo ke tau wakai ki ngai ngongo ko ia I amerikani pe motu apure anga pe me Tonga ki ko ngongo fa mui tahani au ko mai newspaper o kakalu Tonga News. Ikai tali kole ai kau whafofonga ke ta ofi whakataimi ai whalealea. Na ikai ke tali whamaulahi kupa ai kole ai kau whafofonga ai whalealea o Tonga ai ene kau kiaia toke ta uhila mo langi fasi ma tenta pueluelu toke ta ai sakeeke Paula Piven Piukala Kampelieli lanu mata toke tata ni la fusmalohi pe momo ale finau ke ta ofi whakataimi lere ai whalealea kai oua ke whaia whakatonton whakalao. Kua whakahua atu kau whafafongani a kole ke whamau anga ke ne wakai ai ngawe ai whalealea whekau akmo paloti koia ke whaia whiri whahaloto ke tukuhifo palemia si au si somaleni. Oku tukuaki kau whafafonga ko whiri whahaloto na whai na ikai tukuange sea whalealea ha whainga maalie ke alea whakotuu ke tukuhifo ai palemia. Kawia whaunga whakaatahe ko nistutone he ene whakotuu whalealea o Tonga kupu tolngo fulmataha. Ko ikai ko ia ke whakaata ke tipeiti whakotuu o kune mau eia tutuni pea moe lao. Lolotonga tali ke whakailo ko ia ko nau toi o atu moe whakotuu ke ta ofi whalealea ke oua toi lere ka oua ke whaie whakatonton whakalao o nau eke na whahua to sea whalealea a ene tuunga tau kapo ke whawhepaki ai whakotuu ai kau whafofonga. Na eno fotaha ene whamamawhai whakotuu ai kau whafofonga ke ta ofi whataime whalealea kai oua ke mahino ai whatonton whakalao. Uruaki, ko tu ipe taha kia e mawhai ke ne humai o ta ofi e whalealea. Ko e ua, ko e mawhai e sea e whalealea o kuange tutuun whika tahanima aia ko e sea o kia e mawhai ke ne whakalele ngā aue e whalealea ta apuni mo lele pea mohono whakotutu mo hafua o whakatatau mo hafua o whakatatau ki ene palani ngā aue. Na os whakataha e whalealea I au fito novema pene whotu hakai pe e ta ofi e whalealea o hange ko e kore e kau whafofonga talatalaki pe e ata pe ia ke hoko atu ene ngā aue. Na eloto e tokolahi e whale ke hoko atu pe ai whalealea ia o owa e tāpuni pe ane lele ai pe ai whalealea ia. Na e whawhekiki e se ai whalealea ke ka whaiwhai ange ko tari e whamau anga e kore e kau whafofonga ke ta ofi e whale ka oua ko whai e hopo ko tonga whalukfua ia e wesia he tuua e ngau e kotoa ai whale whaulao o Tonga. Na e humai e atenseniale o whai e ne whalei ka whaiwhai ange ko tari e whakotua e kau whafofonga ke ta ofi whataime whalealea ko e mawhai lewa e tu I o oange e konistutone I e kupu tolngo fulmavalu tene wesia e ia e mawhai e tu I. Ko ia toko tahapeo kune malawa ke humai o ta ofi e whalealea ia whahinga taimi pe pea ia whahinga uhinga e hoi fua ki ai. Na iku ua whangatuku ai pe e whakamahaulahi kupa ke ikai ke tari e kore ai kau whafofonga talatalaki. Na ane tutuni ai pe ke fua e kau talatalaki e whakamole ai sea o whalealea mo e whalealea he whakatontonuni. Ko mea maali e, ka pau nei ta ofi e whalealea o whatatau me whotu e kau whafofonga, ko e mole at atape ki e whonua, he tau maia, e tu uai e nau vahe, e tu upe whalealea kai kei vahe pe kau whafofonga ia o e whale, pe e tu uai mo ngahi ngau e kehe mo u lao na e whai ai ngau e ki ai. Taha ia o e tau ngahi o ngongo, pe a mei he kakalu o Tonga News. Te tau hoko atai pe a mo e tau ngahi uni o ngongo, pe a ko tahai pe ne ngahi o ngongo, pe a mei he me kakalu o Tonga. Me kakalu o Tonga News. Ne tauhi tai whakalao he kau polisia asiata mo Vilisoni e aho e hongful mawha. Tutune e peke tukuange naua i e vave tahana. E tutune whamau mana kau fusi e fiaf monite a tahataha o tisema ke tukuange asiata maasima me ha teiho mo Vilisoni tau he langi me i pea me pirisone o makatuunga me hono tauhi tai whakalao e kau polisi ia aho e hongful mawha. Na e toki fuafua ui e hopo ai ongo tamai ko e ni i e aho monite hongo fulmataha hili ia hono tau whakalao ki naua talu pe me atahanima o Novema ko e tukuaki i ki te wak whakapongi o Pitapua. Kai ke, na e hae whamau anga a te isa ko Gaziga ko e loea o whafonga i ongo whakailoa he ko e na loea sunia whiri o kei Folau he hopo whamau lahi ki haapai. Na whaha e te isa ke whamau ko e pepa o kune mau he whaile a loea whili na e kore kau polisi ke tauhi a ongo tamai ko e ni ki he aho e waful ma fitu ki aho wa fitu o Novema pe e kai hato e tutu uni ha whamau polisi ke whakaloloa e malu i kai kei tauhi ai pe naua e kau polisi i pirisone i kai ha uhinga lelei mota e whakalao. Na e ke whamau kau fusi ke talatalaki o e kalauni, pe koe hae mea o koko ke whahinga tauhi ta e whakalao koe ni. Koe tari ne o hake na e toki pasi ange pe ngā ue me kau talatalaki e kau polisi i awhla i te ahavalu o tisema pe ne i kai ha nau ilo ke tu unga tauhi. Na e whahae whamau kau fusi ke toloi ke waho atai aho tatau kai alo e talatalaki o mai ha ane tari o whakawhie maali e. Na au ke hoa e whiawhi na e hua te talatalaki o whakaha o kumo oni na iai e tō nou i e ngāu e kau polisi mo e whakamau anga. Na e tutuuni whakawawewawe ai pe whakamau ke kau kalake ke whai mo whai e ngāu e ke malu i aiongo tangatani ki tu a mei pirisone. Na e tukuangi ki naua kai te ui hana whakataha i a whlaite a ngful manima o tisema ke whaka aho ke na haa i e whakamaulahi ke nau talanoa ke keisi o kutukuaki i ki naua ki ai. Na e whakaha e taha e kau loea, kau i kai loto ke whakaha a hono hingoa ai palupalema heni ko e tae whemahino aki pe ai taha o e kau whakamau. Ko e whamau na e fuafua kole malu i ki ai a koloupua pāhulu. Na ane whakaha ko e tu ai lao, ko e malu i ki tu a hataha o kutukuaki i whakapō pe talisone o ihe mawhai a whakamau lahi. Ko e mawhai o whakamau polisi ko hono whakaloloa pe o e malu i. Na ngā ue lewa asu ni a whili ki hono whakahuha kole malu i maiongo tangatani, pe ane whakaha e tu i whakamau lahi leo petunia tupou, ke o mai hatu tu uni tohi me whakamau polisi whekau aki, mo e malui mo e ngā ue ko whakahoko e kau polisi. Kana e kei whakaha e whakamau polisi pāhulu, ko e lao, ko e whakamau lahi o kune whakahoko e tutu uni malui hataha whakapō ki tu a mei pilisone. Saine hoko e whetari aki koe ni ke mo uno foai o ngatangataia i pilisone, pe angalo ai pe ngā ue ke whakahoko he kau talatalaki he kua taupao a ai ongo whakamau. Ko noi ku anga ne whaha e loia talatalaki o nau kei whakaongongo pe oku eke e whaha e asiata mosoni. Hono tukpili so ne te whalao ki nā wā. Na e toi tuku aki e loia ko eni ai pure polisi fifita ki ene tokanga ki whalelei ai ongo. Ai whalelei ongo e whakailoa mo e mamahi ka e ngalo ai hono whatongia ko e whakamalohi e lao pe tokanga ki hono tau e whakalao e kakai he pilisone he okune tauhi ke malu mohao pe mo whakalao. Ko hono tauhi tai whakalao pe hataha i pilisone o osmahino e mole ai e paangalahi ai pure anga. Na e whai e whitutake ke pure polisi ke whai hane lau, ka na e kai ha whai ngā maalie pe pehe ke ofise whakamau, pe ne whakaha mai me iai o i kai lea e kau whakamau ki he mitia. Ka ke, ko hia whakamamahi whaka elektronika eni, ne whakahoko ai e te wak whakapongi o pitapua. Na e whakaha e pitapua he ne lea he o wau whakalelei i he a polisi, mo e ongo whaka iloana ne pehe, na e kai lotoia ke whaka ilo, ka koe aluange e kau polisi o vava o kore ke whaka ilo, ka na ane tari i kai. Na anau toi aluange a hoko o whakahate na u whai e whaka ilo, kai hike whakamatala a pita pe ane tari lelei. Ko eni o kamata pe ngā ue ki ongo whaka iloa mo e whihala ki. Pe au ko ata me ai e whakailo na whakahoko i he loto tāngia. Ne ongo ko hiana na whakahoko ko e tautea ki ai ko e ngāue popula ki e mate. Pe au kumawha tuki au pito ki hataha ke whai e te wak whakapō. Ko e mea kumali e he whewhainga aki ko e ni, ne ongo ko i hia whakapō ko e tutuuni ke malu i kitua. O ku ia awhini mai e whakamaulahi, kana e malawa pe ia, e whakamau kau fusi o whakahoko he ne ilo pau na iaia e tō no i e whakahoko whatungia hono kau ngā whakamau pēr ne kore e talatalaki ke malu i ki tua kai hoko atu pe e nau ngā we. Ko e tahaia o e tau ngāhi uni o ngoeni pēr mei he kakalu o Tonga news ai pē. Tau hoko ata pēr mo e tau ngāhi uni o ngongo koia pēr mei he pe mei Tonga eki, pe a koe tahaini ai ngahi ngongo pe mei he kakalu ai pe. Ngā e popula e matapule mau pe mo e whaito kona tapu, whakataha mohaleka ta u hongo ful maa whaa. Ko e ngongo koe ni o pehe, ko tautea awhiri nā pa a tau tolongo ful mataha mi asini ke ma ume whaito kona tapu kalasi B ko e kena pisi fe unga hono lahi mo e kalami e tolnge au whanima po ini ono fitu na e toi ma umu hame afana pehe ke mahafu i ahavalu o ma asi i haasini. Na e mau e kau polisia whamatala whalalaanga i fiaf pulelulu ahavalu o ma asi ko whiri nā pa a o whanonga holo i ene me alele o tuwak whatau ene whaito kona tapu. Na ngā wea te kau polisio ta ofia mo ene me alele i veitongo. Na ene whainga ke hola, kana e turi he kau polisio o ma. Na nau whaka eke pe nau ilo, o guiai e whaito kona tapu i o nau api nofo a ngā. Ko whiri o ma uaifi ki veitongo pe ka uhingaia ene nofo holo i veitongo. Na e tuku nā te kau polisi o huai api nofo anga o whiri i hasini. Na nau puke ai o talavou ta ua ful maa ono, mo e le kaako ta hongo ful maa wha, mo e ngahi lau i kena pisi na e wha o i tangai mile mila, ko hono ma wha ko e kalami tolungiau ni ma wha po ini ono fitu. Na e ilo pe moha lai folo po ini e wowa e taha, mo e mahafu pe pehe ke mahafu ki e milimita e hiva o shotgun, ngahi nge es mile mila ke wha o kia e whaito o kona tapu, pea mo e test tube. Na e whamahino mai pe me kau polisi, ko e kau tila, ko pau, ke ia e nau mea whana, ko e teu ke malu i ki nau tolu. Neongo ko e mea tau ta e laiseni, mo e mahafu ta e whakalao. He wikai ke ngofua ki a taha ke ia i hane mahafu, i e galasi mea whana milimita hiva shotgun. Ko e mea whana ia o whatu tāmaki pe au tailiri ma o pea kau polisi, hono pu ke e kau tila whaitoko na tapu, na a hovale kua whanai ha polisi. Kai ke, na e oangi ono taimu ngā popula he tau e ua, ke ne ilo i ai a ene mau i ai lao. Taha ia o e ngā hiongongo ai pe a mei he kakalu o Tonga. Lai au pito ngā hiongongo maali e pe mei he kakalu ko ia o Tonga. pe a goia e te tau ki klose ke ki ongongo koe ni pe a mei nusila, pe a mei he kakalu ai pe o Tonga. Ko e tahene ngai ngongo pe me nusila pe he hue pure anga fo owa nusila ni mo liliu lahi. Pe a sia lahi ai e kakai e pasiki o ka wai e kau Tonga. O pe ngongo koe ni, ko e talu e huhake pure anga fo owa nusila ni, ai a koe kau ngā tataki e whaahi national, mo ongo part wha politikale koe act pe mo New Zealand first, mo e nau whai ngai liliu o nau tawai mo e whaingataa. Ko hu mai ngai patini ne ia na ngai palani nga awe me fotutu nga awe ke tataki ake pure anga pe a ko pau ke feloto ye ngai patini ke lao pe fotutu ke fai peta ofi na palo me soke national ia mo act te na fai lili ulahi ke fonua ka na ka hu ha ke opure anga ko ngai lili weni ko na fenga ke fai ia no e aho e te au e nau hoko hake koe pure anga, pe koe ngai lau ia ai e liliu ia kimu a he kilismasi. Koe to'o e tuku hau makehe pensini mo e lolo ke wahenga o kalani. Koe uhi koe ngai ngawe o whai o kalani ke ngahi e ngai hala, ke whakasi isi e kiu he uhala e ngai e taimi mo ua, ne whakotuku e pure anga leipa ke to'o ha tuku hau makehe o kalani, pe ke mau ha pa anga, ke ngahi ake ngai hala o kalani, ka kua huu mai a national ia o ta ofi. O te eke mahino maalie, te eke mahino koe ha e nau palani ke ngai hala o kalani. Koe whotu e pule anga ke toi whai hana wakai e talite o waitangi, aia koe alea pāwia e kau mauli, pea moe kakai na nau tau i o maua nusilani mo whakalere koe pule anga. Kua hoko e fo inga unu e pule anga koe ni ke kamata, e laka whakahaha ia ai kau mauri. Kua tu hake ai e tu i e kau mauri, tu heitia, o uki e whakatafa whanua e kau mauri ke whai aia o kui koe hui. O ku tātai mo taha ke tu mai e tu i e kau mauri o talaha mea ke whai, ka koe ne ui whakataha koe ni koe ne ongoi o ku mai e kau politiki, o wheinga ke toi we i ai ngai te whito i totonu, na nau fuhu i mai i e taulahi. Hange o iai e whakamana ki e nau mauluta o ku hai e talite o waitangi pia moe totonu ai kau mauli. O kutoi ngawe whoke national ia ke to o moe lao ke iftapaka o iloa ko smoke free law. Kono to o ene whakataptapui he lao ni whikau aki moe mama tapaka, kua ngawe ai e kau toke tā moe kau matao tau he mo ui e whakanga e pure anga fo ou, e fo i ngawe koe ni o ku nau whai. O pehe to kua e mau e pure anga e pa angalahi me he mama tapaka ke whai ake nau ngai ngawe ke whanua. Ko e mama tapaka ko e whiri whakafo i tui pe ia to taha kotoa pete na wifi pe i kai. Ko mamahia e taha e kau toke tā i loa he Pasifiki, ko Dr. Colin tuku i Tonga, aia na ne kau he poa te whale i ke mo uilelea nusila, o ne whakawhisi ai mi hono lakanga e pure anga. Na ne whakaha ko liliu o whai e national o wikai ke nau whakaukau i maumau o koko ke mo uilelei o e kakai e Pasifiki mo e kau mauli. Ka nau sio pe ke lelei whaka ekonomika o nau ta ofia e lao ke smoke free. O kau mo e lao ke tāo mo whea e wahenga e ngai ngau e anga i hono to o e national pe fair pay agreement. Ko e lao koe ni o kune oange ai whainga malia ki unioni mo ngai ngau e anga ke na walea hatu unga wahenga o ku whea mo tāo ma ai tō taha ngāwe. O ku ki ngā utai unioni mo e kau ngāwe he kanseli e fo i laoni he e wesi ai nau tolu mo e nau fuhu ki ha wahenga o ku tāo. Na e whawhi paki i foki e laoni e ngai businessi, ka goeni kua humai e national ia to o e lao ko ia, kai oanga e tau ataina ke ngai businessi ke nau fili ke wahenga o ku tāo he nau whakakaukau. Mana tu o osiai e tuunga wahenga ia o oswotu e pure anga, o ku tapu ke toi holo hifoai e wahenga ngai businessi pe ngawe anga aia o kui koe minimum wages koe pa anga e woua sente fit noa i he hoa. O to e whafok mai he national ia fo i lao ke ngai ngawe anga koe 90-day trial. Aia ke whakangawe i ha kautaha taha o kutukuange uruaki fo i aho hiva noa ke whaiteri hai e businessi pe kautaha pe te nau tali ki hoko atu e taha ngā wehe lakanga pe koe tukuange ia kai kumi ha taha fo o. Koe laoni e we sia lahi e kau tai tau kei ngā ue tonga. Ka pau o kui kai ke mau ha tuunga whakaako pe tau kei ngā ue ha ngā ue anga e malawa ke whakamālolo i pe koia i loto i e ulak aho i hiva noa kai kumi mai e kau taha i ha tahke. O kui kai ha toi mea ia ke mo ua e kau taha kau nau ka whakamālolo i koe. O kulahi mo ngai liliu kehe ka o kue sia hene ka kai tonga pe ko asimai a pakilau o Aotearoa he ngai mitia anu silani o whakanga i a preanga he nau ngai fotutu ngawe o kwhai o kue sia i tau tol ka kai tonga mo ka kai e pasiki. Taim te tau o tau e palemia fo o Christopher Luxon mo e whakaanga lahi me ta whaakeke ka kune kei tuipe ko ngai liliu eni ki le lei whakalupfua e whanua pe uiai mo ngai liliu kehe kai tok o atu amuiange. Ngai o ngongo i pe ia pea mei he kaniva tonga. Pea mei he ngai o ngongo whamui taha pea mei matangi tonga. O ku ne katoa ngā i befra ilonga i foki e Tonga Cable Limited e tau e hong fulu e nau whai whatongia koia i tō ngā. Whatatau ki o ngongo koia pe me matangi tō ngā pe he. Nā e whailonga i makehe e Tonga Cable Limited e tau e hong fulu e nau whakamooni ki hono whahoko koia ai ngā ue i tō ngā. Pe kai ngata i ka ne nau whakamooni foki ki e fiber optic international cable ki Tonga i hono konga hono wa pea e install ia pe whakotu uia i wawao. I he whakaukau ko ia ai puli anga o kunau pehe ko e taha ni haf ngā ue maongo onga au pito tatau te fito ki e toi lele iange whakawhitu taki i Tonga pea motu apure anga. Pea ko ia ai ne toi whakamooni ai a Minister ko ia ki muli ona Paul Fekita moeloa utoi ka manu i e ahongo fulma aua ti sema ke nau to e foaki ai tokoni ke kautahani ke hoko atu e nau ngā we ko e Tonga Cable Limited o ku whapaanga fokia pe mi Australia kai o maa anu sila o kawai ahono fotu koe ne kei polo fo o i wawa o ne kawat fokia Minister palemia o Tonga ona pol hu akama me liku ka o maafoki ai kau taki o pule anga mo e kau ngā ue whakapule anga mo e kau whakawheke pe i he katoanga makehe koe ni koe tau ngā hiongongo ia pea mei he matangi tō ngā. Na e hoko tai pe foki ai fia ia ai kolis atele koe uhi kono katoanga ai koia o e kau kono katoa ngai koia e aho o atele aia ko ta'ue ni e te au whango fulu mātaha o e korisi. Na e tokolahi au pito e kakaine nau te fua atu i loto nuku alofa i au ta whao ti sema kaua i e whanau wako kai uma ai kau kolis tutuku mai ngai whamiri o e whanau mo e kau kolis tutuku ne nau i he hala tau whaahau o whakahoko ai ai laka ai kolisi ki hono whakalanglangi i mono whakailonga i makehe ai tau te au whango fulu mātaha ai kolisi. Na e kai foki ke whakahoko ai katoanga koe ni i he tau hosia koe hono tau te au whango fulu i he tau ko o si koe uhi. Na i gai lava foki a hono katoa ngai koia he tau te au whanoa e tau ko si makatunga me ngai whakatapu koia o e COVID-19 kai o mai whakakeake pea me i he puna ai mo o ngā whi. Ko e whaafalanglangi koia Ko whakawhalangalangi o katoa ngani ko perinisi tungi tuku aho, pia ko ia foki, ko tahapea ko listutuku, pia ko Palestinian o ene to uako, nane ka watu ki he laka ko ni. Na kau foki ai laka ko ni na laka ki inuku alofa, e lotokolo ko ia nuku alofa ki pangaisi, o whakahoko ai na whakaapa-apa ki he ne afio, ka e umafoki ai whale o haamuhe o fo. Ne na uhoko atai pea laka ki he GPS nuku alofa, peko apiako koe nuku alofa, whahoko ai lotutuku o e polokalama makehe koe ni. Ne lelei foki ai whakahoko o e lakani koe hui ne ea lelei au pita tonga pe kai foki ke iai ha uha i aho koe anea whipea mui ngahi aho koe ni whakahoko ai katoa ngani. I historia no e apiakoni ko e Tonga College ko apiako. Na e kamata ia he tahavalu valua, pea i he taim te tau foki ko e whengao e aki eni, whetaki nima a King George Tupo the First, pe ko South Tupo Uluaki, pea mo whaiwhekau ko Shirley Baker, pe ko whaiwhekau Peiga, ai ana whakatu ko ia, ai Free Church of Tonga he tamalu walu nima, pe kai ngatai, kana ana whakatu foki, pea mo e apiako ko eni, ka ko apiako ko ia o atele. Ko e tau ngahi unio ngongo ia, pea mei Tonga eki, pea te tau hoko atu ke tau ngahi unio ngongo, pea me o moto e pasiki, e lava pe tau ki whanongonongo ko e ni.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome.
When you travel with Fiji Airways, you do more than just fly. You harvest food, teach children, tend to patients, keep us moving, and protect our environment. Welcome to our home.
Tiare o Patiti Fa, master artisans of Polynesian costumes, accessories, and design. Our Polynesian-owned small business has handmade costumes for over 15 years. Our island creations are shipped worldwide daily, whether it be Tahitian, Tongan, Samoan, Cook Island, Fijian, Hawaiian, or Maori attire, we've got you covered. Customization is key when you're trying to stand out in the crowd. At Tiare o Patiti Fa, we work with our dancers to create the perfect piece that helps you tell the story of your performance. If your love for the Polynesian culture goes beyond dance, then you'll love our jewelry collection. From earrings to bracelets, rings, necklaces, and Tahitian black pearls, you name it, we've got it. Whether you like an existing piece or would like to have something custom made, we've got you covered. Looking for more than costumes and jewelry? Well, then head over to our website to check out our costume supplies, hats, flowers, pareos, sandbelts, coconut oils, and so much more. Visit www.tiareopatitifa.com or check us out on Etsy at www.etsy.com/shop/tiareopatitifa. You can contact us via email at mavet@tiareopatitifa.com or call 916-271-0955. Mahalo Alpito for your time.
Taho ko atu kia ngahi o ngongo ko ia pia me o motu e pasiki, pia ko tahane ngahi o ngongo wha mui taha o tuk mai ia e Radio New Zealand International. Pia me Radio New Zealand International, ko whaha pia me he kau minister ko ia mo te pasiki o e potunga o e tō tai, e nau kole I lolotonga koia e whakataha o e COP28, peko e whakataha e kautaki o mamani o whawhekau ake whiliuli waki ai ea. Ne nau whahai o guiai ai palopale malahi o whekuki pea moe tūna, ai au alu ke toi si ange tūna I he o moto e pasiki makatu unga pea me I he whiliuli waki ai ea. Ne ia whataha foki ai kau administer pea me ngai pot ngai tōtai ngai o moto e pasiki pe ne nau o ato ai whakakaukau koeni pea moe fotu u whakakaukau ki FFA. Lolotonga ko ia o e whakatahani ne nau o ato ai ngahi palupalema o koko ko e ngahi whatongia o totonu ke fua e kakai ko ia pe ko e ngahi puleanga o mamani, kai o mafoke na wakai ke ngai palani ngā aue o totonu ke toi lelei angai hono tokanga I kina ai tūna neongo ai lahi au pito e ngai palpalema ko mai e whiliuri waki a ea. Ne nau whahafo ke e whale I pia me kau matao ko ia o e sainisi o nau pehe ko e lahi ange a hono toi tukuange mai e ngai kasakona me ngai whanua lahi o mamani ko e toi we sia ange ai ngahi mau anga mo ui ko ia o ngai o mote pasiki o kawa I foki ai tūna. Na nau toi pehe pe foki lotonga e nau I he whakatahani ne nau toi whakataha mai o whai e kole ko ia ki e ngai taki o ngai whanua lalahi ke nau kau whakataha mua I hono tokanga I kina ai tūna he koe taha ene mau anga mo ui e mote pasiki o gulahi au pito tau te fito ki hono whakatau watu ai tūna. Pea me I he Radio New Zealand International ai pe, kua whahafoki pea me I he senatoa koia I Hawaii ki Amerikani, Brian Scott, a ene hanga o toe teke I ke toe waweange a hono toe wakai pe koe ngahi tokoni koia ki he vela pe koe mōwhia koia I Maui Hawaii. Na whahafoki he senatoa, a ene whakahalo lo tonga e whatafa whalealea Amerikani o whea mao ke nau toe wakai ke lao fo o iloa ko Reforming Disaster Recovery Act. Ko e lao fo ko ni ke ne tokanga I kina ai ngahi whakatamaki whakanatula o hange pe ko whakatamaki ukikai whakanatula o hange ko vela ko ia nai hoko I Maui. Na ripoti ai he Hawaiian News o ne pehe ko e lao ko e ni o kuiai e whakaamu ke toe lele iange pe toi whakaivi ange a hono tokanga I kina e kakai o whanua tau te fito ke ta whaaki whiema o whakanofo anga kai o mafo ki ngai polo kalama whakaake ake ke he pe. E lawa foki ke toi tokoni ngai polo kalama tokoni koeni o malu I he lao koeni ke ngai ke ngai whamiri kotoa ne wesia I he vela ko ia I Maui. O gune pefo ke au mai koe ki ahoni ko mao e kakai Hawaii hapa anga e whangeau tahaua miliona Amerika ko e paanga toko nia pea me pure anga Amerika ko hui ko e vela ko e ni pea nau toi fie mao ke toi lahi ange. Pea me Northern Mariana, ko whaha pea me he ta whaaki ko ia o e tuku hau o e whanua ko e ni ko Northern Mariana, ko e fu casino taha e casino I Northern Mariana o kune mo uange ki e pure anga whiunga mo e paanga e valu miliona. Ie taimta tau pehe foki pea me he pure anga kai umaa e kautaki o e casino o nau whainga ho nau lelei taha ke whakaake ake ke lava totong ho nau mo ua koe ni I tax. Whadau whamatala koe ni pea me Northern Mariana me a kosi wanoa na e whailea I e tax o Imperial Pacific International pe koe casino koe ni o fie maawai ke nau totonge pa anga hiva po ine 5 miliona Amerika ki he tax ia o e wafe tahafitu ke wafe tahiva. Ie monite ko ia wike ko osi na e faile ai e pure anga ko ia o North Mariana pe na nau whaka ilo ai a Commonwealth Casino Commission ko uhi ko nau mau I a e nau alea pau I he laiseni ko ia pe ko alea pau laiseni ko ia o e casinoni. Whanatau e whamatala ko ia oku o mai o gui ai e whaka amu e lava ke toi lele yange a hono whakahoko e ngā aue ko e uhi kai lava e he casinoni o totong whakafoki a e fu tex ko ia o nau mo ua ki he pure anga. Pea me fisi tau pe atu rewa ki fisi mo ngahi ngongo ko ia me fisi o whahapa me eki minister ko ia ke kakai fefine Linda Tapua o ku ia me whakahistoria fo o hoko i fisi aia ko fuafua fefine kene hoko ko Palestini o akapulu pe ko Rugby Union. Na befoki na filia fefine ko ni kene hoko Palestini o Kandavu Rugby Union e au pule lulu lolotonga ia fataha lahi ai Rugby Union ai ne fahoko ia isuva. Fadau famatala ko me FBC Sports ne na lipoti ko fuafua fefine ne pasiki kene hoko ko ha Palestini o e kautaha akapulu unioni. E taim te tau foki o nau fia ko uhi he koe tahani a mea whakahistoria o ku hoko ia i he whanuani. Koe tau ngahi unio ngongo peia pea mei he o moto e pasiki, pea te tau toe hoko atu pea ki ngahi unio ngongo pea mei Amerikani, ka te tau lakwakai ki he ki i whanonongo koe ni, pe tau tok hoko atu pea mo e tau ngahi unio ngongo.
Pea mei he hulu live i he ata mei he painga o e Radio Vake Tali Folau. O kuke fie mao ke live hao polo kalama i he ata, i hao whahinga kātoanga pe ka agui kai ke malawa, fe nai ka paweni o kuke whakaamu ke whakauato ke hao whamiri, maheni pe koe kāinga. Ko omong se vani di eni ko i heni ke sito anga maki mautolu. Ko mautuku pai foki, ke mau whaios kia verenga ho mau tōku ingata ke live atu i ata i hao whahinga kātoanga pe. Pe a kuanga pe heni le vaia, ka kuke fie maueni ke antalelei, maa pe a mo whaafo ofa, kai mea te bu foki a ene pese te deau a hono sum, pe a toi vilohi ke whetapaki mongingila ho asi. O ku malawa kotoa ia he whaita koia i he ata me he paenga Radio Vake Tali Folau. O wana ngalo foki, he ko mautuku pae ki mautolu ke mamatai ai lauafe ki he toko mano i he opolo kalama. O ku ikai ko e na pe, ka ke manatu, o ku live ke mea ki ai ai tonga kotoa pe, me i hatapa pe o e kolo pe, i he taimita tau pe o ku hokoi ho o katoa ngā. Io, ko e hāku ke toe tatari ai, he ko e totongi, o ku mātua ki saute whāware mo oni, pe a mo oni ai lau, o ku toe pe ata pe mo kristahi ke tau wau ki ai. Ko iai whituta ki mai rewa koe ke whika telefoni ko e ono ni manoa, valvalu hiwa noa valu hiwa wha, pe ko e ono ni manoa tolu noa fitu nima taha, ki ono ngahi whakaiki iki. Whatonga iange ko mau whika telefonia e ono ni manoa, valvalu hiwa noa valu hiwa wha, pe ko e ono ni manoa tolu noa fitu nima taha, ka mau pāking ta ofia tu ki ai. Mama opito, pe a mege hulu live ata ai Radio Vake Tali Folau.
Ta hoko atu ki a ngahi unio ngongo pe a mei Amerikani. Pe a koe tahane a ngongo pe a mei ABC 7 News. Koe ki tō taha ngā ue ni i he airport pe koe malai wakapuna koe he Bay Area. Na ne kumi ene ki scratch o mawai ene paanga e ono noa miliona. Ko paanga e ua noa miliona. Tō taha ngā aue ni he malai wakapuna koe he Bay Area na ne mau ene paanga e ua noa miliona. I ene whakatau a ene ki i vau. E taha o ngahi liquor store koe i Hayward, lolotonga koe a ene kaiho ata. Pehe koe tō tahani koe Sky Cap ia i he taha o ngahi local airport, pe koe malai wakapuna whalotu whanua, pe i he teim te tau, ko ene ki i scratch up, pe koe ene ki vau koe na ne whakatau ia i he kamataanga o e tau ni. Mō tōru koe hei woti, koe ke wharekoloa koe L&M Liquor. Pena ne pehe na ne toki whakahaa ki he lottery official, ene palani ko ia ki ene winnings, Ko ene fie mao ke ene whakatau ai fuufare a hono hoa o whaanga, mohono, Peka I time te tau pe, o mau he laki store ai, pe koe wharekologa ne whakatau me ai, e ne paanga ana e taha kilo. Ko uhi koe ne whakatau atu koe, eye scratcher koe. Maari e?
Eke ki tau sky cap ia e Libya in the sky, eh?
No, for ia he cloud 9. Yeah.
Ka hae sky cap e meri, mainu ka hae sky cap?
Ikai.
Ka sky cap, ka e whaki service ka ni oku nau. Tupe I he whitu konu whakahifo tono ai e te kato, o lava o naonga check-in e te kato ki airline ko nau ngā weki ai. Instead of alo kiu ko he line e ngā airline ke check-in o ngahi kato Folau, eh?
Koe.
Pea koi ai kai lewa ke to sky cap ia ka e nofo ia I he in the sky. Wanoa miana mea. Ka kia I taim tana o pēm tau ngahi o ngong koi mei Amerikani, alo ke to maariange a e politiki a Amerikani, he ko fe mo e kina ai ongo tawhaaki, he whakatontonu, e ngahi whaihia a drum, takai mai e Republican, o whakasia o tuaki I a Biden mono whohagi, ngahi whaihia, pe ko alo e ne tau tāmate, ki he voti ki hono impeachment o e Palestini. Whahoko ni ngai aho e ua pe tolu ko mari watu, Ia ngosio manatu ka tuko I he taini mi ko Congress oku I he toko wangau ua pe ko wangau wata. Katoa ai fu I kau representative ko ni na voti ko toa ke impeach a Biden. Aia ko e kinau tolu ko toa ko ni I he demokalati na nau oppose. Ka manatu e wini o Tonga ko control Republican near a lower house because Congress, Kau sena toa hanga te au meri oku kei I malmaluia o e demokalati, Kau nami mei tatau be uhinga be e malo he demokalati ka pa e hoko a vice Palestini kene o vai alo ai voti ka taimi de na mahangai pe mahino lewa e hu mai lewa ai vice president o break it ai ko ya kege ka go e go ka fai ngo ka Biden ga ne lau ki he voti ka ne to osi ya pe e Biden kege nau focus e ka o fonga ko ni hangahi ngawe aonga mai ka kai fonua kana unofo o whai ai pe ai whahinga ngawe ta aonga koe ni hono o hake ai ngahi mea noa ia basically koe mea hoko I Amerikani e meri kai kei lawa ngawe a kau politiki he kua lahi ai whetu kuaki mea ke tara whira kon tuaki kene whoha o Biden kau pehe hono whoha nei kai ke kau tata e kiha ane finance whatsoever he ku pehe whoki o ne mau paanga a Biden me ngai business hono whoha kai ke ulahe pita ngai details ea ko ia kako pehe ki o hake mau inga koe ni oku iai ai tūkunga koe ni oku iai ai politike Amerikani walu ke toi toi kou miange meri Ia pau te mau whiri ko hae kau taha ngongo te ke sio ai, te ke sio CNN, te ke sio he Fox. Depende ko hau ke kau koe ki ai, ka pau ke kau ka Trump, ka au ke Fox o whanonga ai all day long. It's all about Trump. Au whika uraki hato e mea. Pau whanonga ka ngongo, whika uaki pia mo anything else, pa au ke CNN, pe koe ngai kau taha ngongo iloa koe ni Amerikani. Ka koe tuu koe I he taini mi, e meli o kuei e fu fie ma viviri au pito ai panga tokoni ki Ukraine pe behe foki ai panga tokoni ki Israeli ka fie ma o he Republican he na o voti ka o leva ke fai hatala no ai Afrika o aki pe mo security Amerikani which is oku nau pehe fi mau whahanga ue ke pota ko hai tūkunga ko oku iai oku Fafufua ke ova he lau afe, mimi lau mano. Eka kai oku nau kei hu, ta whalau mai e whanuan. Pea koe wesia taha I he tainimi ai kau a whanua koe ni o Amerikani pea mo Mexico I Arizona. He ko tāpuni a ngahi checkpoint ia I California mo ngahi whitu kehe, ngahi stu kehe, ngahi state kehe. Kau hia ka fuwhia mau viwili e kau ngā we ki ano process e ka kai una hō mai e kau a whanua. Pia mau process ki nau tō, whailonga ni mahi ki mona ngā hingoa and whatsoever, pe tukuange nau tō I Amerikani. Aka kawi e ngai paraparema o kwheko ki pia mo Amerikani I he tainimi. Ka I he tainimi rau pe hangi ko mena o lawe kai ki e whimahe Republicania ke kau ai talanoa koni ke paanga tokoni ki Ukraine mo lau piliona. We're talking billions here, Mary, ki lau miliona me. Ka koe whimau ke kau ai talanoa ia mo palparema koni I he pota. Pea hange he te rau mātuko nā tōria for the holiday, hange he ke lava ke whai whakata talanoa ki he whimau I ni. Ka koe tūkunga una wiai. Ka upehe he kau he Congress. Ko paupe ke whai o mau inga pito ai malui ai kai whanuata do te whito I loi ko hai o ko mai me ka ngai kau a whanua. Ka tahi ko ngā ngongo e New Zealand ko whi tānang hetu ki e tau ngongo o e whiawhini.
Pea tau hoko koe pepe mo ngahi o ngongo ko ia pea me Amerikani. Pea koe tahaine a ngongo pea me ABC 7 News, tau te whito ne tokangai kina e tau whanau. O ku pehe o ku ki toko lahi ai whanau o ku nau puke, koe uhi koe nau mau mea tokoni me kalasi o apple sauce. Whatatau ki whamatala koe o mai pea me I FDA, o ku nau pehe o ku asi, a weni ke toko no whaa. Ai whanau o ku nau kona pea me kalasi apple sauce. Koe kalasi koe ni o ku pehe fo ke whamatala koe ni ai US Food and Drug Administration. Koe kātoa whanau nau puke nau si ihi fo I tau o no. Pea koe whahinga apple sauce koe ni na osi recall ia, pe na osi ta ofia e FDA ki mua, he uiai e cinnamoni ai, bako cinnamoni koe ni o uiai ai lead, aia o kulava ke kona ai koe ia ai whanau. Na befo ki koe whahinga cinnamoni koe ni, pe o ku o ngahi aki pe kau I hono ngahi aki apple sauce ko ni o ngahi I Ecuador. Pe o ilo aia ko Knackers Mart, aia ko ke kau taha ia me Ecuador o kune ngahi ai cinnamoni ko ni. Pe ne nau pe foki ko o silipo tieni ki Ecuador, ke pule anga ke whai hanga au e mohano toe wakai I mo whakatotolo ai kau taha ko ni. He koe o nau befo ki FDA, koe anga koe e nau wakai pe nai whai o swai a ahi mono inspector facility koe I Ecuador, pe a koe taha ngai mene nau wakai ki ai, o koe ai ngai fruit products ia, ai au kawa e poaches, koe wana pana apple cinnamon, koe apele cinnamoni, koe fruit puree, aia o ku ngahi koe me eposoa na nau, na e whakatau ia me he Dollar Tree on Amazon, pea moe, whakatau he Dollar Tree shop, pe ko wharekoloa ko ia Dollar Tree, ka umai Amazoni mo ngahi online outlets ke na whakatau a te whainga mea apple sauce ko ni, Pea ko os mahino ia, me hianga nau sivi e whainga apple sauce ko ni, o iai ai ngahi konai, o hau ia pea me he lead, pea, I ene pehe, nesi puke ai e whanau, ta wono pe toi si iange, kau e whahinga symptom ko e nau puke, ko e nau lua hu whanga whatapu, ko e nau si whakalere hu whanga whatapu, anemia, ka e umaai langa ulu pea mo e whewale vale, Aia ko ngai me asi ko he kauleka, pea ko iai, o iai a kole pea me he FDA, tau te whito ke taimi koe ni teu ke tau hangat ke taimi kai, ke ki whakamamao Pea me he applesauce ko ia oku iai ai cinnamon iai he lava ke si ipuke ai e tau whanau.
Ki moa ki o ata ai ngong ko ni meri a pate ke ki I kukolo I haka pe koe ha ai simple koe ni o kui loa koe manora. Koe manora koe tahaia whahinga simple hangiha me atuanga te e lango.
Koe.
Ki taipe nge manora ki nga o hake ki kakai. Koe manora koe ni nai whakotu ia he community ko ia oe kausiu I Lake Merritt I Oakland, California. Ai ne foto en I he wike kaha u bana kau ke ai meia a hono light ko ia manora ko ni ko is basically ko simple oe mama. Ko simple oe mama pa fika o akien I he kausiu ko aho e ono oe hanika. Aia ne kamata ahano light mea koe ni hangatea atusite. Ka I he taim de rau pe kono fotu koe ne simple koe nia ne si o atu ai kakaia o Haveke. Basically. Hangana tō tāki lano maui. Pea fuloto mamahe bita ai mea koe ia o kalani he ne toi hanga eia o I ngata pehe na loto mamahe koe ni hono maui o mea ni. Kau ne pe o koe ke ngata pehe kau siu ka o kunehanga ia o maui ko toa ai loto mo whakau o kina o tolo mi o kalani whikau aki pia mai mea neongo ko kau pe ni emeri he mea ku iloa koe tau whihi a whikau aki mo kakai siu pia ianga koe tau whakau atu o koe ka taime nia ke whatua ngai mea pe ni emeri taime nia o fifisi au pito ai fe loto mamahi aki I he ngai uhinga ke pe o mahina pe ka o koe ki hanga he kakai o support ai Hamas ka o ku fie mau ke fasisi I hono ko hinga ko to lahi ko ia o kakai o ku wesia ka o civiliane I he taim tana pu whenga whoke Amerikani ke whahaki Israeli te rau whira ngai mea utuk mai me he White House ki he Prime Minister ko ia o Israeli hafonga e whakasi isi ia ai mate a kau civiliane ko tau whawhiawhiateni ki he toko 20,000 o I kakai o ku mate he tahiwa ke wanoa ki me take aia ko e wesia ko ni ko mate ha maia I he te whakasau te ai ko tahane feitu o e te whakasau te ko ia o Gaza ne whikau e kakai ki na hola ki ai e toi ki maluange ka ke hoko atu pe operation nia IDF ko Israel Defense Force for short aia o ku pehe e paremia ko ia o Israeline Netanyahu he ni mai taha o ku kaila Amerikani ke taofi because ceasefire amamani ke ceasefire he ni mai taha o kuna firma o ke whakaauha ai ka o Hamas ke ona ta hoko mea koe ni pia koe ngā ue whainga ta ka I he taim te rau pe I he ene whakaukau e hoko tu pe ai ngā ue ko ia Israeli he koe tuka he taini mia o supportia he mimei pese tolahia Israeli o ngau hangana to support ai pare mia ki ene ngā ue o ku whai ke hoko atu hano wha auha ko ia o e kau Hamas. I he taim te rau pe ku kamata ke lere pe mo wha tolo ia. Whikau aki pe mo whaunga ko ia wha hoko Israeli tau whito wano wha tolo ko ia ngahi pomu ngahi wheitu. O ku pehe ko e pesete e hiwanoa o ngahi pomu ngonu ngau e ke Israeli kano nuiki ko ni o ngahi area nau pehe o ku tolahe ai kau tautoitoi ko ni o ku pehe whamatala nau ngāwe aki ai tam bomb. Ngai pomu ko ni ngana whare taha o ku ikai ko ha smart bomb ke taimigo o ku whana iai pia whakatatau ki whitu totoni alu ki ai. Ngana whare taha ngai pomu ko ni mo ngai tam bomb ko ni ko no whato I hipope pa whepe whitu ko e alu ko ki ai ko whitu ia e tau ai. Malo mahino pe meri smart bomb o tam bomb O be fa mata ka fa to ko ni ki he operation ko ni idea fa na pe he ai ko pe sete hiwa noa talu me ahore ka mata ai po muninga ki he kautau isleri a tampom uhinga ko ha is cheaper the mama ange ai meri so they save the good ones kai unload all the tampom kage ko tukunga o kuiai I he taini mi ma he ngo lau ke o koko at o aki pe a mo e tau nga he ngo me amerikani meri
o ku anga koe tau wakai ki e tukunga ku ai e a I he Bay Area, mo tol ko he Bay Area, whata tau ki o ngongo ko mai ko ia e ABC 7 News, o ku ai ki I Matangi, o ku hanganaki mai ki San Francisco, pe mo e Bay Area, o mai e uhalahi au pito, whata tau whamatala pe me e Drew Tuma, ka ko e tota whamatala e a ia o ABC News na ane pehe, e kamata atu pe I asa pate, ai uha koe ni I he Bay Area o a o ke aho pule lulu. Ai a koe sāpate mo ni te tūsi te pule lulu, koe aho uha ia I he Bay Area. Koe aho sāpate, o kui ai lewa ai ngai mea o ku toloi, koe uhi koe ngai tūkunga koe o kui ai ea I he Bay Area, pea e toe lahiange I he aho mo ni te, pea haufata, pea moe ki haviriviri, e toe ki māmalo hiange, I he aho monite, I he Bay Area peni, Aia koe monite o a o ke tūsite mo e pule lulu, o ku kei hoko atu pe ai uha koe ai mo tolu o mo I he Bay Area, pe o ke teu ke ewa mai ke Bay Area, whakatoa ngā e ange kamata pe sāpate, te maua wha uha ki mauto. Sāpate, monite, tūsite, pule lulu, whatatau ki whamatala koea, o mai pe me I he ABC 7 News.
Mas kamara foki a whatokanga ia a nepo. Ono tuku mai tara whira mo tol ko ia I whakawha isi te o Amerikani. Ko tau pehepe isi te kamata pe lalo Florida o aloha kei ke noa te North Carolina, South Carolina. Ngai konga o e area mai kani o aloha ki o lunga ta tau pe I he snow, ka pe fuki o alahi. Pea I te imtanau pe ne whai whinga ke whaha lava ki Salt Lake City ki mea whaeik ka I he whamatala mai koia me I he kau kolo me Reno aia he kamata atoko naki tēnā uhalahi mo snow aia o kaka taimi lerei ni ke whauri ai ki Reno pea mo mahate ke lava lere he tairimi ka ko foki mai good luck pe ko whē taimi e te atai ka tuko ni he tairimi ko ngahi uhalahi ko ni pe ngahi snow ko ni mala pe ke wasia ho o fononga ka I te mtanau pe fia mao pe ke mana ke tuatu o whaka uri ngahi state ko ni check ai weather he ko no taimi pe ni snow mo ice emeri
Okay.
ya o mala pe ke whakatu utamaki au pito
E me San Mateo ai pe, wahenga koe a San Mateo, whatoka ngā eange ko whaha mai pe me Samaritan House, koe naine ka mate a honi pe a mo a pongpongi o nau whakawai a e nau holiday toy shop, pe koe whale ia e mau me ai me a wa inga ai whanau, pe a koe ngai me a wa inga koe ni koe me a wa inga tae totongi. Ai te ke mau ia I San Mateo County Event Center, a honi ma pompong koia o ke atape a pompong. A vele vai whanau ki San Mateo County Event Center, koe uhi ngā he whaia hano tūwha te ngai mea wa inga ke whanau, pe aku nau pehe foki he Samaritan House, ko e whanau ko toa pe o toton pe ke iai a e nau ki I mea ofa. Pe a ko iai, ko e fie mau ko e nau holiday toy shop ko e ni a Samaritan House, ko ngai tokoni ko ngai me vainga ko ni ko tokon fa foi tui ko tokoni me ngai kautaha ko tokoni me ngai business ki ka ko donate ko toa ngai me vainga ko ni ka pau off ki San Mateo County Event Center ki Colosia tu ke ai ko hinga ke si ave me vainga fana
we ono fale ta ka ke ilo ha ki family na si tu hausia ke si ato fe mau ki tokoni be woman or man enough ke ki tuk hao taimi ke whakauri atu o pick up ai mga mea tokoni ka peke ngahi mea ofa koe ni o ame mai ki family ko ia Emily.
Ko ia.
Keke, koe lau marie o i kirismasi, o fia ma whaka marie, whahoko ate whatongia i he fia fini, e fia flight, raho, taha wha o isi ma. A tahanima? A tahanima, so o ki tōmu ia ke ahata, Ko ia.
Kau ngatanga i tau ngai uni ngongo ki e houani, tau tok hoko atu. Tau tai miki hoko to tonu e fitu, pia ne motok mea mai ke tau ngahi uni o ngongo. Ki mua ke hoko atu e tau ngahi polkalama, te tau tok mawai ki tau tolu whafufua ke hoko e walu, tu mua ke o atu e popoa ki whakamamahi koe ni, pia tau tok hoko atu, pia mo e tau polkalama. Ki afio a kilua mei maananga. Tapu ki a siasi king tupo wono, pehe ki e kuini o feina na naspau o tuku aho. Whakatulo watu ki a eikno pele whawhanua, Lord Vahai, eikno pele veikune, eikno pele tui a fitu, kai o maa eikno pele whatulolo, mo e makapuna a hou eiki. Tapu ki a motu o puaka mo haamatapule. Ki e ale ki pisope o siasi whaka-Inglani, ki Archbishop of Diocese of Aotearoa, New Zealand and Polynesia. Archbishop Sione Uluilakepa pea mo e siasi whaka-Inglani ki Tonga. Whakatulo watu kolo amatangi ki e wahanoa ka e whahatu mua hoku apisia masivani. Ki e whanau mo e makapuna o Isleri Kamperi whakawā mo atu o hakau tapu kolo amatangi. Ki a Ana Fuspala, ki a Sione Ita, ki a Osayasi Pepa, ki a Feleti, ki a Lintoni, ki a siasi tu umuka ki pangai hapai, ki a Caroline Tankina, ki Portland ki Australia, ki e whanau pe mo e makapuna o tupou holonga pāhulu, ki a Mafi mo vai pāhulu, ki a Alani pāhulu pe me api ko fasmo e afi. Ki a lele noa, pea ki e whamiri ake ki kolomotua. Pea ki e kāinga, mo e whamiri kotoa o koloa matangi mo pāhulu i he ngalu o pē. Kua tali lelei e te vita I ta kolo amatangi, ahono ui ma oni I he aho ono o tisema o ta uafe ma ua tolu. Ko sihova na ane foaki, pea ko sihova pe kua ne toe to'o, tau whakawhetai pe ki hono hua wha. E whakahoko e mea whakaeiki o toke tā Reverend David I ta kolo amatangi, I he fiafi toko naki, ko hono aho hongo fulu maono o tisema o ta uafe maua tolu. I is Nira Funeral Home, I e tuasila ko hiwa fitu South El Camino Real, I San Mateo I California, hiwa wha no aua e zip code, I e taimi tolu e fiafi, ki e taimi hiwa e fiafi. E whakahoko ai pe ai malanga whakamāwae, I e aho sāpate ko hono hongofulu mā fitu o Disema o ta uafe maua tolu. I e whalelotu ko Episcopal Church of St. Matthew, I e tuasila ko Taha South El Camino Real, San Mateo, California, I e zip code hiwa wha no aua. I e daimi hawhe ai wa I au sāpate ai pe I e hili ko ia ai malanga whakamāwae. E whakaha ele ai pe ki hono api mau, ki Cypress Lawn Memorial Park, I e tuasila ko tahatolu fitunoa El Camino Real, ki Coma, California, zip code ko hiwa wha noa tahawha. Whakaapa atu pe me he ulu motua, pea mo Viliami I ta fua atonga kolo amatangi, pea mo e uitou, pea mo e whanau. E dio Vake Tali Folau ko tau taimi, o se mini te walu pea mei he fitu. Pea ko iai ho ekwe ka inga te tau hoko atu pea mo e tau polo kalama te tau tok mawai I he taimi walu. Ko e polo kalama ko ia te tau hoko atu ki ai. Ko tahaine ngai polo kalama makehe, pea ko e polo kalama eni whekawaki pea mo e mahu inga ko ia o e ātakai, pea mo e lanu mata o e ātakai. Pea ko ia tu mua ke tau kamata ko programa ko ni o ek mo kainga. Te o atu ai ngahi lea. Ko ngahi lea ko ni e kau matao tau e fonuani fe kau aki pea mo e mahu inga o e lanu mata aho tau atakai. Pea i dai te tau foki o ku nau pehe foki ko e ngahi kolo ke kehe i ngai ahoni o ku nau whemo e kina i hono toe tō ai ngai ulu akau i ngai feitu ke o kau ia i ngahi whakamata lelei o e ngahi kolo. Hange ko ia ko Los Angeles ko whaia hono tō ai ngai ulu akau pea ko tafoki ai ngai mea o makehe aki a LA ko hono palm trees, pe ko hange ko ngai fu ulu niu ka e tu ko e taimini hange o alu ke toi si i moli atu ai ngahi palm trees pe ko ngai ulu palme ko ia i LA pe ko mahu inga au pito ke toi whaia hono whakairi ai ngai ulu akau ko ia i ho tau ngahi kolo pe ko ia ai ko ngai lea ko ia e o atu o kawa e ngahi lea e kau matao koe ni o nau talanoa whekau aki mo e ngahi savea ka e umaa whoki e ngahi whakotu whakakau. Whakawhekau aki e ni ki he whie mau ke toi lanu mataange a ho tau ngahi kolo he upehe ko toi lele yange pe ko te lanu mataange ho tau ngahi kolo ko toi lele yange ia ai mo ui ai kakai tau te fito ke ki nau tolu ko ia o ku nau toi masive siva ange. Ko ia ina e whahoko ai ngahi lea koe ni, pea te tau kamata pea me i he lea me taha o e kau toke tā Michael Charrett, pea koe tō taha koe ni o ku ngā ue whokia i he tawhaaki koe ia o e ātakai, pea mo ui lele e whakasaya nisi i he UCLA, pea koe University koe ia o Los Angeles, pea i he taim te tau, tukumua ke tau wakai, ki he lea koe ni, pe te tau tok talanoa ki ai e osi ai lea.
Sounds good. Let's go to the original order. I was looking at I wasn't looking at see if he was on. So UCLA Professor Michael Jarrett, welcome. Hello.
Michael?
Michael, are you on?
I think you're on mute.
Still, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Okay.
but we don't see the slides.
You don't see the slides. Okay.
We see your calendar.
Okay. Let me try again.
Okay.
I can also run them if it's easier.
Yeah, that might be easier if you don't mind.
Thank you, Jessica.
It's not working, but let me try this one more time. Okay, do you see it now?
Yes.
Thank you. So I want to talk to you today about the associations between green space, tree canopy, and parks with life expectancy in neighborhoods of Los Angeles. This is work that was done in collaboration with the Prevention Institute. It was really a wonderful collaboration, which really showed, I think, the power of community-based research.
I think Jessica's running. Oh, there it is. Okay.
And for anybody that wants to see the full paper, it's here. And I'll just do a shout out to my colleagues at the Prevention Institute, Manuel Avaleta, Alba Yanez, and Jasdeep Baines. When we look at the evidence on green space and health, we can see that contact with nature, both green and blue spaces, so parks, coastal areas, trees, a wide range of human health benefits. And evidence from Los Angeles suggests that green spaces and park access is worse in areas where there are low incomes or large populations of Latinx.
Hange go mea kulawe ki ai tamayo e ki koe ni e Green Space and Health. O guyai foki a ngai feitu ulahi i LA ko asi pe hai ai fie mao ke toe lele yange a ene lan mata e feitu koe ni. Tau te fito ki ngai feitu koe ia o gunofo ai kakai ko ia communities of color pe a mo kakai ko ia o kai ke life unga pe ko low income ko low income pe ko na tol ko ia kai ke sai e na tu unga whakapaanga pe a mo kakai ko ia lanu pe ko communities of color ai tau kawa ki tau tolo na pe he e ki na tolo ia i na ngai savea mo ngai whakatotolo ko ni o whakahoko o kai o whakaau ke to e koviange ai tūkunga o kuiae a takai i o nau feitu u. I nau wakai koe ke ngai pāka, ange koe tānoa koe ni o ku nau whakahoko, wakai ke ngai pāka koe kualati koe pāka alu ke to e koviange. I tū koe e taimini, pia kune ue sia e ia ai tu unga koe ai mo ui lelei, pia mo ui whakasosiale, ai kakai o e feitu koe ia, tau te fito ki he communities of colors. Pia koe whakatu whakakaukau, ke toe whai hato e ngā ue e toe lelei ange, pia ke maupe e he kakai koia o kunau kala, pe o kunau lanu ke he. Ai whainga maali e tatau, pia mo e kakai koe o kunau toe maume ange. Ai a koe tānoa koe ni, o mahino mai me iheni koe ngai wheitu koia i LA, o ku maume ange, o ku toe whakaofo ange honau ātakai, tau te fito, ke lanu mata ko ia honau ātakai. Whakawhianaki ki ha wheitu o ku nofo ai ha kakai, o ku nau, o sisi e nau mauanga paanga, pe o nau toe masive sivange. Koe tuu ia koe i he taimini, pe a koe whakaamu. Ke tatau pe ai ātakai o e kau maumea, pe a moe ātakai ko ia o e kakai, o ikai ke nau maumea.
And Asian people. The quality of the parks is also worse in these socially disadvantaged areas. So the proposition is that if the parks are unevenly distributed, but they do promote health, that some of the population inequalities that we see in Los Angeles are due to these inequalities in park access. If we look at the human timeline, it's good to be reminded that we evolved in nature, and it's really just been very recently that we've moved into cities. And this has spurred several theories about why nature might be good for our health. The most well-known is by E.O. Wilson, the Harvard ecologist, who coined the term biophilia, meaning that we evolved in nature, so there's an inherent love for nature, trust for nature, there's evolution, so we've adapted to natural stimuli, not artificial input, and that has made us genetically predisposed to react positively to nature. Environmental psychologist Roger Ehrlich built on this with the stress reduction theory. So we have this immediate response. It's not conscious when we see nature. There's stress recovery and relaxation. So we see the savanna, vegetation, trees, and we're prepared to react to nature, but not to build settings. This also has been expanded by the Kaplans, who've said that there's attention restoration. So there's a universal meaning to nature, to people, and general positive values. And there are cognitive mechanisms. And we all know when we're in a modern office how demanding it can be to try to focus, whereas we have this innate fascination when we're in contact with nature. So when we look at the literature, we can see that there's a tremendous amount of evidence that suggests that we have reduced attention deficit disorder, hyperactivity disorder, reduced mortality, reduced cardiovascular illness and respiratory illness, and reduced depression when there's higher contact with nature or a better access. We also see that pregnancy outcomes are improved, so preterm births go down, low birth weights go down, well-being and happiness as measured by validated scales goes up. Cognitive development and brain function in children has also been shown to be improved as academic performance. So against backdrop, we initiated this collaborative project with the Prevention Institute to assess the association between life expectancy and access to parks, green space, and tree canopy in neighborhoods of Los Angeles. And we hypothesized that life expectancy will have a positive association with measures of green space and parks, and that parks will have a larger impact on life expectancy in areas where without much green space or tree canopy. When we look at life expectancy, there are many different determinants that are listed here. You can see that environmentally, there are negative ones like air pollution, lifestyle factors like smoking, obesity, physical inactivity. I won't go into the details, but I can say that we characterize all of these factors in our statistical model to try to hone in on what impact green space particularly had. This research was made possible by work that was done by the Center for Health, National Health Statistics, the CDC, and the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, who developed these very small area, these are known as census tracts, estimates of life expectancy. And across Los Angeles, it goes from 68 to 93 years. So if we're somewhere in the south central area, it's about 68 years. When we go up into Malibu, it goes up to 93 years. And you can see that when we look at the satellite retrieval at 0.6 of a meter resolution for green space, that there's a lot of variability. And you can see how that plays out in a residential neighborhood on this slide. You can also see that the park need is unevenly distributed, and at least visually, it looks like it's correlated with life expectancy. So when we did our statistical models, we found very consistent associations between the presence of tree canopy and life expectancy. So more trees, we saw increases in life expectancy. More green space as measured by that satellite image. We also saw that. And I think this is really important and fascinating that when we looked at the impact of parks in areas that did not have much tree canopy or green space, we see a very strong linear influence on life expectancy. But in areas that are already very leafy, say like Brentwood or parts of West Los Angeles, we can see that there's really not a lot of impact when there's already a lot of green space. And this has implications, which I'll talk about in a minute. So when we look at quantifying, the effects were quite modest. They were adding maybe 2 to 4 months of life expectancy, depending on which variable we looked at. But when we sum that up across the large population of Los Angeles County, it adds more than 171,000 years of life expectancy. And there's a real environmental justice implication here because many of the neighborhoods that are underserved for parks and green space are populated by Black and Latinx residents. About 122,000 or almost 123,000 of those life expectancy years gained if we brought everyone up to the county level median or about the average of green space would go to Latinx and Black residents. And when we think about the interaction between parks and green space, this highlights the importance of improving parks in areas without much green space. And these are oftentimes areas that are poor and have large populations of Black and Latinx people. For anybody that's interested, the Prevention Institute did a tremendous job with an park advocacy toolkit. So you can go to their website and get this if you want to start using this in any of your research or reporting. I just want to thank the funders and the people that shared data with us and the Prevention Institute for their leadership on this project. Thanks very much, and I look forward to our discussions.
Thank you, Professor Jarrett.
Lord. Hage ko mea ko ia okumo mea mai ki ai ho e pa mo e kainga ko e talanoa ko e ni whekau aki pe amo e tanoa ko e ni whekau aki pe amo e tanoa ko ni o whekau aki pe amo e lanu mata o e atakai o kuiai a ene whekau aki ana ia pe amo e mo ui le lei ko ia ai kakai pe ko mo ui pe ko e mo ui e kakai ko e lanu mata ange feitu o nau nofo pe ko atakai o nau nofo ai ko ene to e lolo ange ai e nau mo ui ne ongo ke pe ngahi mea kekehe o ku ngahi makatu kia anga hange ko lahe diabetics ko lahi ai tapaka e lava ke ne wesia ai loloa e tau mo ui Ka koe whatatau ki whamatala koe ni o mai pia mei he kau matao koe ni o nau pe he. O guiai, o swai e nau tole whakatotolo koe ni, pe a guiai e whakawhelave ia ai loloa a e te mo ui, pe a moe a takai koe o ku te nofo ai, o ka pau o kulan mata. O kune toi hanga whoki e au toko ni ki tau tolu hange koe tau tūkunga whakakau, pe koe ka pau o te ongo o te stress, pe te alu ki ha pāka o tanguto sio ia e lan mata ko ia ai a takai o ku ia e ne toko ni lahi au pito ka te tau tolu. Ai a koe samari pe ia o ki talanoa ko ia nai o atu e he tamai o eiki pe koe taha e kau toke taha filosefa ai ne tau toku whanongo ki ai. Ka te tau hoko atuen ki he kaunanga ko e ni pe mo e ne talanoa pe o whekau aki mo e mahu inga e lan mata ko ia ai hotau ngahi kolo.
Important, of why trees might be important for us to be looking at as the city. So I am the first city forest officer for the city of LA. I started in this role in 2019, and I oversee the Office of Forest Management that's housed within the Board of Public Works within the city. And we look at collaborating with other departments and ensuring that the city is enacting policies and practices that are going to help ensure that we have more tree canopy, healthier tree canopy for our residents. So one of the big projects that we're working on is our urban forest management plan. So you heard about the importance of trees with the prior speaker and all the health benefits that could be provided to our residents if we made sure that we had tree canopy in all of our neighborhoods. But we really need to have healthy trees in those neighborhoods and have trees live their full lifespan in place in order to achieve those benefits. And so in our office, we talk about what I refer to as the 4 pillars of urban forest management for the city of LA. And those are planting, which is the one that people frequently think of, let's plant more trees. But the others are equally important. If you don't have all 4, you don't have a healthy urban forest. So we have planting is one. Maintenance, how are we taking care of the existing trees in our public right-of-way, our street trees, and in our parks? How are we preserving? So preservation is the 3rd one. How are we preserving existing trees in place when we have new construction, when we have new development? In general, how are we keeping trees in place so that they continue to provide those tremendous benefits to residents? And the 4th one is engagement. And that's acknowledging that in a city, people are a huge part of the urban forest. They can either help the trees be healthy and stay in place, or can have negative impacts. And a lot of people have feelings about trees in their communities. I don't get a lot of feedback on, what maybe another piece of infrastructure like a fire hydrant or a street light. People may care if those work or don't work, but they don't care as much what they look like. But trees, people have a strong opinion about what kinds of trees and how those trees behave in their neighborhoods. And so this engagement pillar, we're looking at, again, educating residents on things like why trees are important for their neighborhoods. We're also listening about what's important to them. What are the aspects of the urban forest or benefits that trees provide that are important to them, and how can we design the city around them, the streetscape around them, to better support the look and feel of the neighborhood and the benefits that they care about. And then, so it's this back and forth, some education and kind of outreach, and then it's also listening to our neighborhoods so that we're designing together what that urban forest looks like and ensuring that it really meets the needs of our residents. So those are the 4 areas: planting, maintenance, preservation, and engagement that we as a city want to make sure that we're doing really well. So we're developing this first urban forest management plan, which we're hoping to complete by 2025. And this document will provide a vision for the future and be our roadmap of how we're going to achieve that vision. How are we going to do all those 4 areas really well? How are we going to use research to guide decision making? How are we going to gather community input for projects and for some of those elements moving forward? So, and how can we really achieve this healthier city? How can we have those benefits of trees be provided to all of our residents so that they can have the benefits of trees that Dr. Jarrett laid out, as well as other ones that we know of in terms of, increased habitat for wildlife, and improved conditions for, slowing traffic and other things that have these impacts on our neighborhoods. So we're developing this urban forest management plan, and we're actually about to kick off a community engagement campaign related to that because part of developing the plan will be, again, as I mentioned, getting that feedback from residents. And so in January, we'll be having a series of workshops in neighborhoods across Los Angeles to get feedback from folks in person, as well as having a survey that folks can fill out. And the survey and the workshop materials are being translated into multiple languages based on the feedback of our community partners that are going to be helping us deliver those workshops. So just FYI, we want to hear from all the folks that live in LA, what trees mean to them, why they're important, what concerns they have, what areas they wish the city would prioritize. That's what we're going to be looking to get feedback on. So, and this project that we're doing for the Urban Forest Management Plan is being done in partnership with LA County. LA County is also developing their first management plan. We're developing ours. And instead of working separately, we're working together. And we're doing that for two reasons. One is so that we take the best practices and make sure we're applying them across the whole region. The trees themselves don't know if they live in the city or county, but the best practices for how we take care of trees and plan for trees is the same, right? We live in the same area. We have generally similar conditions. So we're working together to make sure that we're aligned on best practices and providing that regional leadership. And making sure that we're talking so that if a new pest or disease that could impact our trees in our urban forest comes online, that we can coordinate better to move quickly to address it. The other reason we're partnering with the county is because we know that we're going to be better off doing joint community engagement and education campaigns. We want to make sure that we're maximizing public resources and not exhausting our residents by having separate meetings. We want to hear from folks together, and we also want to do education together rather than developing our own separate campaigns, both now and in the future. So if we're sharing information with residents, we want to be collaborative. So we're partnering with the county, which is really exciting. And the last thing I'll just share is one of the big components within the UFMP. That's what we are how we're referring to the Urban Forest Management Plan, UFMP, for short, is not just looking at those 4 pillars of urban forest management, but we're also looking very specifically at the issue of tree canopy equity. The images that Dr. Jarrett showed you that not every neighborhood in the city has access to trees and green space and all the benefits they provide. And so we're laying out what our equity strategy as a city is going to be, and not just looking at the distributional equity of making sure every neighborhood has healthy, adequate shade for their public health needs, but also looking at recognitional and procedural equity, making sure that everyone has access to help inform plans in their neighborhood, and making sure that we're really recognizing things that have happened in the past in those neighborhoods and the different efforts of different groups in those communities. And so with our equity work, we've been partnering with 2 different groups over the past, I want to say 3 years at this point. The Urban Forest Equity Collective, which has been led by City Plant and Tree People. I know that Marcos is on the call. They're one of the partners in that collective. It's a large group of folks that have been working on a variety of research questions and helping us prioritize where we need to have certain interventions happen first and how we do good interventions that are going to result in adequate shade for residents. And then the second partnership was with the University of Southern California, USC, their Urban Trees Initiative, and their website, I'm happy to drop in the chat, has a lot of information helping us look at a couple different pilot neighborhoods and thinking about equity criteria. Again, how do we prioritize the areas that have the most need, and how do we do interventions that give us sufficient shade at the end of the day? And the reason that's important is most of the neighborhoods that don't have adequate tree canopy cover, not enough trees, not enough shade, have really small locations available for tree planting. So you think about the neighborhoods you go in where it's all concrete sidewalks, or maybe that grassy strip between the sidewalk and the curb is only 2 feet or 3 feet or 4 feet wide. I can only have city crews plant small trees in those locations, not just small when they're planted, but when they grow to their mature size. We can't have trees in those small spaces that are going to uplift the sidewalk or grow into the building or grow into power lines. So we have to plant really small trees there. And those don't provide us the same benefits. We want large tree canopy covered. We want large areas covered by shade when people are walking in their neighborhoods. And the benefits provided by large stature tree species are significantly greater, exponentially greater than small stature tree species. But the neighborhoods that don't have a lot of shade to begin with only have small spaces for us to plant. And that's part of the reason we've been partnering with these 2 research projects, is to help us understand where should we be doing something different? Where should our design within the city potentially shift to accommodate more access to high quality green space in our neighborhoods? How do we do that in a really thoughtful way that includes the community input? I'm not going to, we're not going to come in and change the design of the neighborhood without talking to the residents and understanding their priorities. And then also, how can we be really strategic about where we can get that maximum benefit when we do have new investments? Because currently, if we plant the existing available spaces in those neighborhoods, we may not get to the canopy that we think we need in order to have a healthy, resilient Los Angeles. So I've gone a little bit long, but thank you so much for having me, and I'm happy to answer questions at the end.
Thank you. And we have
ko e tota ko ni na Elea ko ni ko e fefine ia ko Rachel ko la vei pe ko ngahi fainga por kalama ko ni ko ka por kalama o ku tau mana ko ki ai ka o ku mau inga pe fo ko e mo ka inga ke tau vakai ki ai ki ngai nga u e ko en tau te fito ki e whaka amu ke to e lanu mata nge a ho tau ngai kolo fa tau ke fa matala e fefine ko ni ko e ne kau taha o ku nga u e fa fitake ni mai pe moe Los Angeles County ko hui ke na fraho ko pe ga ngata pe LA ka fokai pe moe University ko ya o LA poko UCLA pe moe ngai ka ta fika wa ki ke hepe o nau fenga aki ke nau whakahoko ai ngahi ngawe maho ingai wha koe ni ko ulu aki ko hono toe to ai ngai ulu akau ke toe lahiange i LA pe koe planting more trees ko hono wa ko hono tokanga i ngai ulu akau ko ia o Los Angeles pe ko hono maintenance i ngai ulu akau ko hono tolu ko hono whakairi ai ngai ulu akau ko ia i LA pe ko hono preserve pe ko hono wha ko hono whakakau mai ki tau tolu ai kakai ke tau kau whakataha i e mahu inga ia i e lanu mata ko ia ho tau atakai a ke toe a kau ke toe lahiange pe mo ngai mea ko ia hange ko lea ko ki mua ai tangata ki mua o whakamahino mai ai o guiai e whakawhelave ia ai loloange e tau mo ui a whakawhehoanaki ki he lanu mata ko ia ho tau atakai whadau whamatala e whewhine koe ni koe nau whengawe aki ko ia pe mo County o Los Angeles ko no uhinga ke na wolewa ka mata ngai workshop ai e whakahoko ngai whiako aki koe ni ka mata i Sanuari o tau ka hau pe te nau sio ai koe hana i e whie mau ai kakai koe hana i e priority ai kakai koe hana i e nau ilo whekau aki pe mo e pe mo whengai aki ai lanu mata a takai pe mo quality ko ia o ete mo ui hange ko mea kulave ki ai o kulahi au pito ngai wheitu i LA ko si isi e mea ko lanu mata ko inga ko ngai langa ko ia whakahoko o guia e ngai ve e halaia ko wakai e tuki ai ko lahiange ai la isi maa ia i e ki itoe nga ko ia o e mahalo me ko inispe tolu me he la isi maa i e ngai walkway pe ko ngai alunga hala alunga ko ia e kakai me inis petol fa aki lan mata ko ia osko ia pe hoko mai concrete walkway aya o pe he fine ko ni e fai e fe po tala no ak mo kakai o kai ke na loto ke na tol ke di ak kakai e fonua o fie ma o ia ke fai fe po tala no ak mo na tol to e fai ha ko kia ki na tol mo ha fe ako aki ke mahino pe maho inga malie ai fie ma o ko ia ke toe lanu matange ai ngahi ai ulu akau pe ke toe lanu matange ho tau kolo pe me fe po tala no aki ko ia te na fa uleva ngai palani ai ko palania o fie ma o ke a usia pe ko palani ko ia e ma uia i e whenga aki mo ngai county ko ngai university o mai ngai research ka o mai ngai whatotolo o mai a whaia ka hano whau pe mo i lau ko e kakai whau ai ngai palani ngā ue e lava ke muiaki pe a ke toi whaka ai kau mai e kakai ko ia ai kolo i he tō a kau ko ni mo fie mau ke toi lan matange aho mō ngai kolo ko e tahai e tala noa o mai mea Rachel ka te tau hoko atu pe ke ngahi lea o hange koe lea pe me tangata koe ni.
And to offer that we could certainly get students working on that to identify those species if that's helpful to you.
I'll just say in response, those criteria are existing data sets that we have within our tree species, a draft tree species selection guide for the city.
Ko ngahi tari fehu I penia pe mi e kau whai o ngongo whekau aki pe mo in a presentation ko ia ai tamai ai kau nanga ko ni a Rachel pe hange ko ia o toi ai lea tolu ke tau wakai ki ai o te lau ke lea pe I he maho inga ko ia ke lanu mata pe ke toi lanu mata ange ai funga ai fonua ko tau fie mau pe ke tau ki whakawheles e tau whakau kau ko whewhe tū tsai ke te aru ki ai mo ni pe a ta ka pau te mo pe mai ke tau ok whale lotu ka koe whukotu whakakau kau pe koe whakau kau te lava o whakasisi e puputu e te whakakau kau o ka pau te lue hapaka o wakai ke lanu mata e funga e fonua ka pau te lue ki ta ia o siope ki anga ko ia o ka pau te tau whawhiana ki ange koe ni te lue atu pe te usio atu ki he light pe koe a street light lan mata lan kula whiriu li waki pe e kai ke hane liliu e ia e te whakakau whakawhiana ki a taimi te alwa tangutu o siofi hafu akau o wea whahinga ongo ku te mau e kita I he taimi ku te siofi e hafu akau o ku lanu mata te sio ki ai te fantasize ki te lanu mata te hau e te whakau pe na anga whewhe ene tupu anga whewhe ene mo ui te whakaofa ia hono matala te whakaofa ia I hono fua aia koe ngahi me aia o pehe e kau whewhine mo kau tangata koe ni o ku mahu ingai ke toe lanu mata ange ai a takai ko ia I ho tau whanga ki I kolo. Pe aku mautolu koe tau te whituk mautolu LA koe ngā koe kau lea koe ni toko lahi taha ki nautolu pe mei Los Angeles ka pau lewa o koe LA watch out ke ngai workshop koe ni alo kau ki ai he koe lahi ange ai tau kau ke ngai workshop pehe koe lele ange ia ki he tau whanau pe amoe tau tangata ko ia ka hoko mai ka aku mahau inga au pito ke tau mui e ngai ngā unu ko ia ako tau ngai county mo ngai state o tau iai tau te fito ki sio ki anga ko ia o e ngai me an.
Can I just say how grateful I am to have Rachel in that position? How awesome is that? And I'm also happy to be here and chatting with everyone. I think both of the presenters have made my job a lot easier just with presenting in the case of being able to not have to go over there. I know we have a certain amount of time that we're being allocated, and I think the folks on this panel can talk all day about this, and that is the thing that I think gets us to a point where we're not just passionate about this, we're looking at ways to be able to address these issues and how it works. So now that you all have received like the why and what the city's doing, I can talk about Treat People a little bit in the sense of what one organization is doing there amongst many to get us to where we need to be. Again, one thing is Treat People has been around for quite a long time. We are in our 50th year. So that is exciting. And we started out with this idea of, getting people to get together and take that personal responsibility, plant trees. It was a very, at the time, a hippie way of doing things, which I think is pretty awesome. And it started this really great movement within Los Angeles. And over the years, we got to a space where we're becoming more familiar with our landscape. And we are becoming more familiar with the needs of our communities. And we realized if we were going to make any drastic change in addressing some of these issues that are coming out with climate change and just everything else that rolls within Los Angeles County, we needed to start prioritizing the areas that need trees the most. And so Tree People has taken a step in prioritizing those areas. Again, the areas in need have been identified. We have been able to see maps of it and or of these areas. And just to shout out a couple of them, it's the Northeast Valley, South LA, Southeast LA areas, like Boyle Heights. And what we're doing now in partnership with a lot of local nonprofits, but also the city, is getting to a place where we can not only identify those locations, but identify the neighborhoods that we'd like to work in with a much more holistic approach. And what I mean by that is it's not just Tree People going into an area and doing the work. It's Tree People bringing opportunities to the communities in ways of jobs, education, like the environmental education, awareness, I should say, and then the education around how to be able to build around the urban forest. Again, there are priorities in these areas, and the priorities might not have trees or urban forests way up on top. So it's not that we're going into areas and saying, "Hey, you should be thinking about your trees." I often say, as I'm a bird watcher, and what great way to look at birds is in areas where you have trees. But I often say, if you could wake up in the morning and the first thought that comes up in your mind is, which bird am I going to see today? You're waking up with a level of privilege. And our community members don't all have that. My goal is to get them that privilege. I want people to wake up and think about which bird they're going to see today, which tree they're going to get to experience today. I know it's going to be a lot of work, but we are committed. And if it's one tree at a time, we're going to go ahead and do that. So a couple of things that we're looking at as being a process for us as well as an organization of growing. We realized that the volunteer model has been what has amplified our work. What we are now looking at is a hybrid model. So we continue to do that volunteer aspect, but we are now looking at workforce development. We need to be able to pay people to do this work, and we need to work with the industry to make sure that we're pushing back on best practices. We need to make sure that we are understanding the needs as Rachel was identifying those pillars. Yeah, we're all about that. Maintenance is huge. Also, preservation. If we're cutting down large trees and replacing them with small trees, we're not really doing ourselves the service or doing what is needed. So understanding that this needs to be a holistic approach. So currently we do have a model that is allowing us to seek funding that is supporting jobs across the board. We're able to bring folks in at the community level, give them training, experience, and amplify our message as far as being able to continue what is needed to have a sustainable urban forest. One thing that we're also doing and what is allowing us, I know we're specifically talking about LA County, but a lot of what we are looking at for us and what is part of our mission is being able to share our process with the rest of the world. And even though Inland Empire might seem like a whole nother world, we are currently in Inland Empire, Antelope Valley, and we're able to do this work as well and really get to a point where we're able to plant a ton of trees and have a community investment that is going to be lasting. So yeah, I would love to answer questions at the end, but I do want to keep on my time.
Ko e tafo ke ni a lea ko ni e tangata ko ni o whekau aki mo e nau ngāwe a nau tolu. Ko lea ulu aki na e lea i o whekau aki pea mo e uhinga pe ko hana uhinga o whi ma wai ke tau toe a tokanga ki ono toe tō ai ulu akau i o tau kaunga api pe ko ho tau a kolo. Pea na ena ana ni o hake ai e ngai whamatala whekau aki pea mo e ngai whakatotolo ne whai i e kau taki ko ia pe ko e kau mataotao e sai ni si o mahino mai me iai o guiai e ka inga ai ulu akau pe mo atakai lanu mata pe mo loloa ko e tau mo ui ko ene lanu mata ange atakai ko to lele ange ia a mortality ko to loloa ange e tau mo ui hangi ko mea ko tarama elisita ko te lue ko he matatahi o e vai mo te siofi ai ngahi ulu akau o kune hanga e au clear e tau whakau kau. Ai au gai connection e ai mo ui e tangata pea mo atakai lanu mata. Sai, ko ne a whewhine hono ko na e talanoa ia mahino ngai palpale mau koko i LA na e talanoa le vai ke ngāwe ko ia o kunau whakahoko e nau ngai whe ngāwe aki partnership pea mo e pure anga ka mai ngai kau tawhi kau aki ke whai ngāwe ke toi whakalelei i ake tu unga lanu mata ko ia ai atakai i LA. Pega inga tai ka toi ako i kakai ke mahu inga maali e kia kinau tolu ai uhinga o mahu inga ai atakai lan mata mo atakai mo ui lele. Lea koe ni e tangata koe ni nane pehe. Koe ngai fōu ngai ni o nau address e kinau tolu pia mehi e nau kau taha koe ang nau kau ki ai. Pea kune pe o taha ngai mea o kune na anehanga o highlight i koe ngawe offer. Pe koe volunteer. Aia ko motolo ko ia o volunteer o ku kawia i he motolo mahu inga au pito na e toi toko lahi ange pe na e toi lele anga e nau ngawe. Ka i he taim te tau kei fie mau pe ke nau kumi hapa anga ke totongi haka kai ke nau whai e ngawe o ka pau o fie mau ke tu uloa e ngawe pe sustainable. Pe i he taim te tau foki o kune pehe o kunau whaka amu e lava ke toi mau hapa anga ke train e kakai ko ia he community pe ke ako i e kakai e community i he mahu inga ia ko ia i he lanu mata o kolo pe ke alu e kakai ko ia o nau whai e ngawe i he taim te tau pe e nau si mahu inga ia he lanu mata ai kolo ka ko nau oko e whai ngawe pe e lewa e nau ki i vahe e hoko e koha mea ke mau anga se niti tu ke hea me volunteer ka une pehe o mahu inga au pito ke iaha taimi o mau haki i a se niti aki nau tolu o nau whai e ngawe pe ke totongi aki nau tolu o nau whai ko ia ai ngawe wheka o aki mo mea koe ne o whai kia i e tala noa. Neongo ia ka neongo ia o kia e tau lea e tah o whi ma o ke tau hoko aki ai ko rea whakaosia ki mu apa tau toki whakaosia tau polkarama ka o ko whakatawange pe o kuongo lele iat ko lawe i pe toi pe tau ki miniti e walo ka te tau whenga pe ke whahoko ai lewa ai lea whakaosi ki mu apa tau toki whakaosi ka koe tau lea whakaosi
Plus years we've created about 30 parks and gardens serving over 500,000 LA County residents. And in total, it's about 21 acres of green space, public green space. These spaces range from very small pocket type parks, like 0.15 acres, all the way to 8.5 acres, which is our biggest park to date, Wishing Tree Park, down in West Carson, that will be opening in a month or so. Out of that 30 parks and gardens, about 14 of them are managed by us directly year round, and that serves about 360,000 LA County residents annually. That means that the other parks are usually parks that we have built in partnership with usually municipalities, City of Los Angeles, smaller cities within LA County, or parks that we have helped in developing and then passed off. So Wishing Tree Park, we will pass off to LA County after we finish the construction. And I think the other panelists have done a phenomenal job of establishing the why, as Marco said as well. But I wanted to uplift one document that we often reference from Trust for Public Land. It's their Park Score Index that they do annually. You know, we, out of the 100 most populous cities in the United States, Los Angeles ranks 80th out of 100, which is a very not great. We can do better in that by far. And out of that in particular, you know, they kind of break down the data as the other panelists have done as well, showing that non-white communities have far less access to park space. I think 64% less nearby park space than those who are living in white neighborhoods. Or if you want to slice it by class, lower income communities have about 66% less nearby park space than more affluent or higher income neighborhoods. So, you know, our perspective is there's a real need not only to create more public green spaces, you know, and we're talking about parks and gardens to be a part of the ecosystem of the, you know, and part of the urban forest canopy that the other panelists have spoken of. So not just to do this, but to do it explicitly from an equity and justice lens, so that all communities, especially those who have historically and thus intentionally been under-resourced, actually have the access to green space, to the benefits of safety and wellness outdoors, all of those studies that Dr. Jarrett shared earlier. And this also means going the extra mile with our projects. So not just saying, here's a plot of grass for, you know, here's a lawn, but, you know, but going the extra mile with climate resilience, with drought tolerant plants, with a universal design serving community members who have various disabilities or mobility challenges, and, you know, and justice in general in all realms of our lives. So, you know, I'll kind of share a little bit more from 3 core pillars that we practice from, and I'll put that in the chat. The first pillar is community engagement and advocacy. The second is park design and development. And the third is park and garden stewardship. So thinking across space and also across time. And I'm actually going to start with stewardship because the conversation about maintenance is really exciting to me in terms, you know, to reframe as one of stewardship. So of the parks that we ourselves own and maintain, right, operate and maintain, we steward them through a practice of hiring park stewards from within each neighborhood where those parks and gardens are located. So these are part-time employees that work approximately 10 hours or so a week, but they really become and lead, you know, in their communities, strengthening connections between residents, between our stewardship network, between us and our community partners and municipalities. So they are the folks who are, you know, really allowing these public green spaces to thrive and to serve beyond just being some kind of green oasis. Additionally, you know, in our stewardship pillar, we think a lot about our youth. And so we have operated a garden apprenticeship program, or the GAP program, we call it, since 2013. Have worked with over 350 students in South LA in 9th through 12th grade, really thinking about how we can arm the next generation with the knowledge and skill sets to operate in park equity and food sovereignty spaces, you know, developing leadership skills, public speaking skills, and understanding of how we got here so that we can understand how to move forward. Less so on the youth side, we also have practiced a Park Equity Leadership Academy since 2015, I believe, which has been more of a training program for folks, any community members who want to participate in the kind of work that we're doing. And I can speak to more of that to anyone who's interested off of this call. In terms of park design and development, and I'll say that I acknowledge that myself as a project manager, this is where a lot of the work that I do comes into play. My background is as a community organizer, but I'm also licensed as an architect in California. And so, how do we implement is the big question. How do we connect funding sources, outreach and community engagement, in relationship with communities, and actually, break ground and move through design and construction phases to transform acres of space, so that is work that thankfully we never do alone. So one example that we're really excited to be a part of is the South LA Eco Lab, which we're part of alongside Marcos and Tree People, and a lot of other partners in South LA. We also have exciting projects across the county right now. We have a small park we're working on with the city of Hawthorne. We have projects in the works in Maywood, in Cudahy, and also in Watts. One of the ways that we are able to leverage our strengths is through a project that perhaps John will touch on too, which is the LINK program, which is Link Advocates, Governments, Families, and Parks. So we are part of 2 of those projects where we are partnered as a nonprofit with more technical expertise with a community-based organization that has the relationships in those areas. So Link South LA is one of our partnerships, and Link Southeast LA is one of our partnerships as well. And the idea is, when municipal agencies or other governmental entities are, themselves under-resourced or don't have the capacity to build and renovate multi-benefit parks, how do we pull in all of these types of actors, nonprofits with technical expertise or community-based organizations with these really strong relationships to place? How do we all kind of find our position in there? I think I'm running a little short on time, so I'll say one more thing about community engagement and advocacy. As I mentioned, that we never work alone. We're part of a lot of coalitions. So I'll just name 2. One is the LA Living Schoolyards Coalition, which I think some folks, I'm like not reading the chat, but I saw some people were talking about greening schoolyards. It's something we do a lot in coalition. We are active. We have a memorandum of understanding that with LA Unified School District, which is a valued partner for us, and we have done many schoolyard greening projects where we're taking out asphalt and actively putting in climate resilient and kind of like culturally specific and well-loved amenities. The other one that I'll mention is La Rosa, which is LA Regional Open Space and Affordable Housing Collaborative, through which we've been working across sectors, with the 100-acre partnership, which is, city, county, state entities, as well as community-based organizations in Northeast LA to combat and mitigate green gentrification. So understanding that we can build parks, but we have to continuously advocate and collaborate to make sure that those who were most impacted by environmental injustice are those who get to stay, remain in place, thrive in place, and have access to those high quality parks once they're built. So I'll stop there.
Thank you, Peace.
Koe tau lea whakaosia ki he tau polokalama koe a I he whia whini. Pe a tui ho ik me ka inga whatawange pe o puongo le le atu. Ai maho inga koe a ai toe lanu mataange a hotau ngahi kolo. Tau toka ngai kina ngahi uru akau. Kai ngatai maho inga koe a koe ne ongo iko ke whie mau ke ki break. Lue atu ke ngai pāka. He o guiai a ene kaunga ana ia e te lue he lanu mata o e funga e whanua au ke ene kaunga ana ke anga koia e tau mo ui lelei. Pea tāna ki atu pe ki ai umau inga ke tau kau ke ngai ngā unu koe ni ngai county tau te whito ki ak motol koe e Los Angeles ki ngai ngā ue maongo o ngā koe ni ka kohono tokanga i kina ai a takai mo e whaamu ke to e lanu mataange ai fua ai funga fonua sai ko ngatanga e tau ngai polo kalama pe ko ngatanga ia o e polo kalama ko ni pe ko kalama foko ni finga ak fata mo ethnic media pe mo ethnic media services ko ka ta foko ni o kunau si to kanga kina ai ngahi ka ta haongo tau te fito ke ngai ka ta haongo ngai matakari ke na o mai ngai ongo ke tau inasiai mo ngai ngawe maho inga ke tau ko me ai ko ai ko ngatanga ia polo kalama e fin fa feki motol ke polo kalama hoko ai fa hoko atuia pe a meia e mere va hoi ko na kupu pe me he leti o ko ia o e funga vai ko puna ka kopea ka mo mea tau tok filongo aki a pompongi o ke mo ma o hai fiafi lele
urban ecosystems and understanding inequities and for learning how to remedy those inequities. A lot of the great